All right, guys, we're going to get started. Okay, so didn't even do the intro because I want to jump right into it. Dwayne is going to join us very shortly. Of course, he's going to get into the video, right? So while we wait for Dwayne to join, I want to show you guys a video that I found. So this was another video that I was able to find online. And if you zoom in, wait, let me just stop it right there. Do y'all see that? You see people were hitting him. I'm not understanding what really happened right here. This kid was jumped. I mean, you have to zoom in to be able to see it, but he definitely was jumped. Now, Dwayne is going to come on. If you guys recall, he's the guy that I had on my show, and he talked about seeing the video. I want him to walk us through what we're actually seeing. If you guys recall, or if you were here yesterday, I had called him on the phone because I'm like, what is this we're seeing? Is this the actual video? And he said, absolutely not. That is the grainy video. So this is not the actual video. But if you actually zoom in, it's not clear, but it lets you know that they jumped him. They jumped him. Clearly, they jumped him. You guys can see, like, we can't see close up what they're doing, but it is a tussle. It is a fight. They made it seem like he crazy and he just wouldn't get up out of his seat. This is a lie. They lied on him. And I believe the reason why he ended up in the back, because they hit him and he fell out of the back. Because how did he get out of the back? So you guys will see him fall out of the back. And we're going to get into the interviews after Dwayne. Okay, so Dwayne is here. So I'm going to stop this. And hey, Dwayne.
Hey, how you doing? Let me put my headset on.
Okay. So what I want to do is, and they love you over here, by the way. So I don't know what them folks online talking about, but they wanted you to come back on because obviously the video was released. And I said from when I saw the video that this could not be the video that is clearer, because from me seeing it, it looks like something is going on, but I had to zoom in. I also found other videos where they zoomed in. And one, let me just show you this one right here, because I want you to be able to see it. You see that video right here? They actually circle where the commotion is going on. But even then, you can tell that it was a fight. Like, it was not a situation where they were saying that, you know, okay, we asked him to get up. That is a lie. I mean, just looking at that, you know that something happened. And also you can tell that it seems like either he was pushed out of the back with some kind of force. Even when he finally ran into the officer, parts of this video is not accurate because you see him running to get away, and then you see him stop running. So this video is highly edited. I don't know, you know, what part of it is edited, but it's not cohesive. Like, it looks like something is not all the way correct. And also we can tell that it's edited because there's no timestamps. It's not the original video. And I'm wondering, like, you know, why did they, well, I know it seems like they just gave us this video to shut us up. But if you can walk us through what we're seeing on the screen, I'm just going to play it and just turn the volume down.
Okay. What we're seeing here is actually a different camera angle. These are three different cameras. And so this camera right here is one that they never showed anybody. And this is the boys, the twins, and their friends walking through the gate. So you see either Hunter walking with the first group and Austin with the second, or they said Austin with the first group and Hunter with the second guy. And that's them walking over. this is another camera angle. This is from the 40-yard line on the left side or the south side of the stadium. They didn't show this either to the people that did the PRI request into Frisco ISD. This is a separate camera. This is Karmelo actually walking up before any of this happened. And this is where from testimony you hear them saying EP. That's that moment. It's not. It's actually several different videos together to give that moment.
Okay.
This angle here is several kids.
Don't want to cut you off, but I'm glad that you said that it's several different angles, because when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, they walk in. Why come we can't see them walk in and where they actually go? So you see them walk in, and now you see this camera cut over. So I know just from watching it that we're missing some stuff. So I'm glad that you said that there's different angles that's being shown, but they're making it seem like it's one video, but it's actually different portions.
Correct. And before you started, this that we're looking at, this is actually the prosecutor's evidence that they submitted into court to put up the proffer of their case. And so every time that a case is adjudicated, the court gives you a dump of all of the evidence that was put into the case. So that's what we're seeing. This is not anything that was being where we're talking about we're having to fight with Frisco ISD to get the actual footage. This is not that. This is what was going to be released regardless, because this is what every court does after it's available. They release it to the public, and normally your media get it first because they're the ones that's sitting at the courtroom every day waiting for it. And then people like myself that have PIRs or FOIA requests in will receive it as we go and pay for it and get it ourselves as well. But this is all what the prosecution said they were going to mesh together in order to convict Karmelo. So they're basically putting it into a way to where it makes him look guilty in their eyes. And it's up to the defense, who has all of the video, to actually proffer up the reason why that the prosecution is lying, which they did not ever do. And so I just want to make that context to people so they understand that what we're looking for is not any video feed that we're fighting for. It's actually what was going to come out regardless. And this is what was shown in, well, not all shown in court, but this is what the prosecution offered up as evidence and put into the case. And so we're seeing that how they mesh it together. And again, you're looking at 3 to 4 different camera feeds that they mesh together as one.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. Okay. So from what I'm looking at, it looks like a stadium. I don't make out who these people are, but as I watched it multiple times, I started to look at this canopy, because I know from all of the people that I have heard speak about this, this is where the action takes place.
And if you could pause it right there, right quick, before we go further. If you really pay attention, from looking at the video that we saw earlier of Karmelo coming out from the steps coming into the stadium and walking over toward where the memorial canopy is that they're not showing, there's 2 other canopies that's there to the left of it. So he was walking past that way. There was courtroom testimony that EP, Eddie, is the one that called him into the canopy. So by this time that this video is running, Karmelo is already up under the canopy with EP. EP has moved. Yeah, EP has moved. And so from that, you would see a lot of movement under that canopy. Remember, Jeff Metcalf himself and Hunter himself both said that Austin, and Hunter said he did too, but we'll just go by what Metcalf said, Jeff Metcalf. He said that Austin grabbed the bag and threw it. And in this, you're going to see movement from Karmelo because he was in the middle. You're going to see where he was sitting before, that he was actually moved from one spot and he moved back to the same spot. And people think that's where he walked in, and it's not. It's where those things were taking place that they actually mentioned. And so he was trying to get his bag back. Austin was keeping them from getting his bag back. And as they said in the court, he used a football move, almost like you pick up the football dummy and you're putting it back as a DP or as an offensive lineman or a DB trying to move another person. He put Karmelo back and jacked him back in that spot to where he was. And so that's the movement that you see. So when people say that they're walking up and Karmello wasn't there, no, Karmello was already there, and you're seeing the movement based on that.
So are you saying that Austin took his backpack, took Karmelo's backpack?
Yes, according, and we're just going to go by Hunter Metcalf and Jeff Metcalf's own words. Hunter Metcalf said that he took his bag, and then he said later that his brother aggressively took his bag. That's what he said. Jeff Metcalf stated on his interview, I think with CBS 11 in Dallas, he said that Austin took the bag and threw it, is what he said. And so that fits in with Austin's part because you can see the movement under the canopy and you see other kids moving around as well. But you also see a sea of kids blocking the view of the coaches because they were on purpose on the right-hand side of the canopy standing there and making sure that the view was blocked. And then later on, you'll see a young man by the young girl with the yellow poncho on. He kept looking and you see him bend down looking in. He's bending down looking in because that's where Karmello was at the time on the ground because they had him in there on a chokehold.
Okay, I got a question for you because I know you saw the video at Frisco ISD. I actually went and looked up, I think, is it pronounced Kirkendall Stadium? Is that how it's pronounced?
Something like that, yes.
So I went and looked up that stadium. That video, those videos are very clear. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I understand what the people say when they say they went there and they saw it because it's clear. Because when I go on their website, every video is clear. So because you saw the clear video, and I haven't obviously, what would you say the actual differences? I mean, we can zoom in, but when you saw the video at Frisco, how much clearer was that? Like, what more were you able to make out? Again, we can zoom in it and we can see movement, but when you saw your video at Frisco, what was more clearer to you than us actually watching this video?
Yes, I'll talk about the 11-minute video because that's what everybody that did a PRR request and a FOIA request, that's what they saw. It was actually this same camera. The camera was actually zoomed over just a little bit to your left a little bit more, and it was fixed. And what they did is they actually lowered it down toward the ground a little bit. And so you could actually see a white gentleman and his wife. They were standing there the whole time with he had his hand like this because he was looking at what the boys were doing. And it was actually zoomed in just a little bit more. And so you can see the raindrops even more clearer than you see it here. You can actually see a bird fly by as well, which you see birds flying by here as well, but you see it more clearly because one, depending on the device that you're looking at it from, which this device they're showing it from is actually the same monitor that Tiffany Billions actually recorded her part, that the 2-minute video that I put out about her having. That's the part that she recorded from the same monitor. So we're looking at this feed from that clarity, basically. And so, but the clarity that they showed us was from a 55-inch HD TV on the wall. And so the clarity is a little bit clearer. And it's always about the device that you show it on and that you recorded from. And so this one is clearer than what other people saw, but it's not as clear as the original footage and also that of the 11-minute video. So what we would see different there is that up under the canopy was a little bit more darker because they did tilt it down trying to keep the identities of the other kids away from people at the time, which I understand and I agree with that moment at the time. Right now it's not that anymore. But this you see more than what some of the people saw on the 11-minute video because they edited again as it went further and they actually zoomed in more and made it a little bit more darker so they could protect people a little bit more as it went in. So the first thing you notice here is that from the one that we saw there at Frisco ISD, they're telling you to look and say, hey, here's the 4 boys coming. So as these guys are coming, she's telling you that these are them. So don't pay attention to the other stuff on the screen because you're going to miss what happens because it happens so quick. So when they walk in, everything is meshed together on that screen So you're looking at the movement and paying attention to the movement, but you can see that a few of them never sits down. You see the one, which was Austin, that made his way. He turned around, put his foot up. He did all kind of things. But as soon as he walked in, you see him bend over. His bending over was directly toward Karmello. And that was actually said in court. You also see one of the other kids on the left actually moving in and going in and out toward Karmello. That was actually said in court as well, and it's actually on the video. And so all these things are true. People will say it's three of them that went there, but it was a fourth on the left. And we kept saying that young person kept going up and down. And so the only difference of this video and the PIR video that most people saw, because some of us saw a little bit different stuff in the beginning, but from the ones that saw that 11-minute video, this right here is just a little bit less clearer than that video, but it shows exactly what happened to a T of what we've been explaining for a year and 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, however long it's been.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I'm hearing, it was just another camera which had a better angle, is pretty much what I'm hearing.
No, ma'am, it's the same camera, because this is the camera at the 40-yard line. If you look right, actually, this may be the 50-yard line camera, because they have a 50-yard line camera that moves with motion. Okay. And so this may be that one, but I think it's the 40-yard line camera that would be on the north or on the right side of the home side. And that's the one that they showed us the footage from at Frisco ISD. So it would be the same camera footage. They just edited it for the purposes of the prosecution. So they're showing you everything and moving it, because you can move all these cameras. Everything is you can pan it, I think, up to 45 degrees or something like that. Either way, all these camera angles. And so they all are movable.
So my question though, even with looking at it, like the first time I saw it, I looked at it multiple times and then I zoomed in. You can clearly see that it was a fight. So I don't understand what the jury saw. That's why I'm so confused. So even seeing this, and even it being in the quality that it's in right now, if you're on a jury, you should be trying to zoom in to see. I did it with my phone. I went on TikTok and found other videos. Obviously, we know the jury can't do that, but I'm saying in court, when they saw this, I'm just trying to figure out what is it that they did not see.
Well, they didn't see this. I can tell you that. They saw bits and pieces from people in the court, and we know this is, what, 15 minutes long? When they turned the monitor over to the jury to let them see, because they showed snippets to the general public and the counsels and Karmello and all of them, and then they flipped the monitor around and they showed the jury different pieces, but it was not 15 minutes long. And so they showed them a compilation of what they wanted them to see. And it was Karmello basically walking up. It was Karmello running away. And it was just that. So they were showing that he was the aggressor. He intended this, and he ran away from there. That was their cry as far as the prosecution. The defense never rebutted that. And so they were not shown this 15 minutes. They were not shown that. They were just shown a compilation, which was still shots, little snippets of video, from my understanding, maybe a minute long, a few seconds long, had the little hourglass thing on it to show Karmello, all those things. But the prosecution did proffer this entire 15 minutes up to be used if needed be. And so that's kind of that moment. And so the defense just never offered any of the footage, and they have all the footage because it was all turned over to them, because you have to, because of exculpatory evidence. The defense just never used it because they never planned on mounting the defense for Karmello, period.
Okay, because somebody told me, about the Brady violation. So I had to look that up. And it clearly says that the Brady violation occurs when the prosecution fails to disclose material that could somehow help the defense. But now you're saying that, yeah, it was provided, they just didn't use it. So essentially, the defense had the full video, just never relied on it as evidence?
Correct, because it's ineffective assistance of counsel at that point in time. The prosecutor, look, one thing we have to understand is that in all of their issues, as far as the DA's office in Collin County, they are not dumb. And so they know exactly if you commit a Braley violation, that's the easiest way for a person to get out of jail free, period. And so they were not going to not give the exculpatory evidence to the defense. Now, what did happen is that somewhere in there, after about a week or two of Mike Howard getting on this case, he decided to not be a lawyer anymore. And so whether that was at the behest of the judge, behest of the prosecution, DA Willis, whoever, somebody got in his ear and got in his life and got in his mind, and he decided not to be a lawyer anymore. Because I know that when he took this case over from the other two attorneys that were on it right before that and got fired, they had already started working on trying to get it dismissed. He took up on that case and he was working on trying to get it dismissed. And then all of a sudden he has an ex parte meeting with the DA's office and whoever else at the Collin County Courthouse building. And after that, he forgot how to be a lawyer. And that showed all the way up to the time that we saw through trial. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So there, from my knowledge, there was no Brady violation when it came to the videos, because I know that the defense received all of the video footage.
Okay. Okay. So it would have been on the defense then to show this portion and just zoom in so that the jury can, have that reasonable doubt. Because when I look at this, I'm like, okay, if they say it wasn't a fight, they lying. Now,
Yeah.
I've heard some people say, and even like in multiple different chats, they say, well, Carmelo said he put his hands on me. I didn't take that as him saying that it wasn't other people, because I feel like when you're in a situation, especially when adrenaline is running, you may say he, but it was they. So I didn't take that as an indicator that it was one person opposed to multiple people. What do you think about that video where Carmelo says he put his hands on me opposed to they?
I think people have to understand that context always matters. Even in this video, when we get further into it, you will see that once Carmelo ran away, he ran over toward the coaches. He got to a coach. We know that from the coach who testified that he talked to Carmelo. He walked with Carmelo. He told Carmelo, if he passes away, your life is done. And Carmelo was like, no, he's going to be okay. And he was like, no, if he passes away, his life is going to be over. And Carmelo started crying. If you watch this video as we go further, you're going to see that said coach. And that coach actually walked him over toward where Austin was laying on the ground. They had that long conversation. So now Carmelo knows that when he ran away, he didn't know what happened. But when he is walked back over there and the coach is going back and forth, now he know that it's he, Austin, because the coach is telling him it's he, Austin. So when the officers get there and they're saying I have the alleged suspect, the first response Carmelo is saying that, hey, no, I'm not alleged. I did it because the coach just told me he did it. And then once they go further, now he's crying and saying, hey, he should have put his hands on me because the coach told him that this young man might lose his life because he did put his hands on him. So the context is that he was informed by said coach that it's now not they, it's he that might lose his life. So that's all Carmelo was thinking about. He's not thinking about nothing else. So when he made that statement, it was he.
Dwayne, I think your signal went out a little bit.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, that makes sense, because I'm like, listen, in a situation where, you're in a fight, you ain't finna say everything the way that you would say it if you're not in the fight. So I'm glad you said that. So it wasn't that he denied that he wasn't jumped, because we can see that it was not a one person thing. You can see even by this not being as clear that there are people standing up. Remember, the people who saw the video they've all stated, and I'm going to play some of these witnesses' account. They said that they all surrounded him. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm seeing, because I have heard other people say the video that they saw, they surrounded him. So that would make sense.
Correct.
My next question is, when watching this video, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm really trying to figure out at what point did the poke happen? You know what I mean? Like, people say that they saw somebody throw something in the garbage can. So I've been like watching it over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, what's the likelihood that, they had a weapon and somehow, with the fight that somebody else poked, Austin? Because I'm just like, I don't believe nothing until I hear what Carmelo have to say, because these people are clearly liars.
Yeah, and you can clearly see that one young kid that actually went toward the trash can. He hit it so hard that it actually moved, and that was as they were chasing Carmelo. And so it's a moment to where, from the evidence and even from the photo of the wound, because that also got released. I'm out of town, so I haven't been able to get to the courthouse myself and go give my information from my PIR request. But looking at what everybody has shown, the wound looks more like a slash, and he's open by that slash. And so then looking at the actual tool that he used, I know this is YouTube, so I don't want to show it to you, but I have an actual replica almost of that same type of tool, because it has the window crasher thing that I carry with me from a vehicle. So if I ever get into an accident, my windows don't work, I can break it. It also
Right,
has the little thing where you can cut the seat belt
right,
if your seatbelt is locked. And that's exactly what that tool was. Now, we knew also that Hunter carried one every day. We have
right,
photos of it being in his pocket every day. His father said that he had just bought Austin and him one because they had took out their first wild hog in hunting the week or two prior to this. And so this is Texas we're talking about.
right.
Mostly everybody carries a tool on them. Not yeah, so it's just what that is. And so there was never any evidence proffered that, one, it was Carmelo's,
Mhm.
two, that there was no DNA or anything on it or blood that belongs to Carmelo on it. Also, they didn't even show the jury the actual evidence. The person said that they didn't want to wear gloves, so they brought a replica. That was the first time in history in court I ever
Right.
seen them not bring the actual weapon.
And
And
that was
so, and then
that was a
uh
red, that cut you off, but that was a red flag to me, because I'm like,
yes,
where in history someone pass away and they don't even bring the weapon? So it made
yeah,
me, I started to think, who else had their hands on that weapon to the point that they didn't want to bring it in court? I'm thinking that there were other fingerprints on it, because now that I see the level of the cover up that these people will go through, I
yeah,
don't believe, unless he says that, that he had it for whatever reason, he has it. But when I look at the pictures of Hunter and Austin, I see them going fishing and things like that. So it makes more sense that they had it. So I think that they had it and he somehow got it away from them or flipped it on them. And that could be the reason why everybody is so angry, because I just don't believe that he had it. I just don't.
yeah. My thought on it, and this is my thought, and I'll say allegedly, and before I say it, from what I know and what I've seen, I believe that Hunter had it. And I know that just from the way that they dealt with this whole entire case. Everything is about blaming Austin. Put all the blame on Austin, because he's not here. But
Right.
Hunter is the one that, by his own admission on WFAA Channel 8 News on the same day that this happened, April the 2nd, hours after the going to see your brother at the hospital, he stated that he was the one that started this issue and situation, and that his brother always had his back, whether he was right or wrong. And so
Yes.
I believe that Hunter took it out. Hunter's fingerprints are on it. His DNA is on it. And I think that's probably how Carmelo got the prick on his finger, where the little blood is shown, where the cop said he noticed it later. I think is where he got it from, because he was trying to get away from them actually slicing him. And I think that Hunter put it in a position to where Austin fell on it, because everybody was rushing Carmelo at the same time Austin was aggressing up on him and put him in the headlock. And so this is what I feel from what I know from the evidence, and then also from them not, because Hunter was not there at the trial at all. His daddy kept him at home. And even when the defense was asking for him to be produced, they took a recess and did all other kind of stuff, and he never showed up. But then once he was convicted and the sentencing phase came and they had to do the victim impact statements, he was brought there by his friends in the car. We saw him pull up, saw him get out, saw him go in the courtroom. But you were not present at any other time until after the fact. And then you had the nerves to be on the stand telling Karmello to look at me, boy, look at me, look at me. What? And it's because you know that what you did. And when they left, someone shouted out to him that you're the reason why your brother is not here no more. And you could have seen the look on his face. He put his head down and he got in the back of that car because the guilt is on him. And the same thing with his dad when he was doing that interview and the guy said, hey, here's Hunter. You know, you have anything to say to Hunter? That man looked like he could take that man out. And he said, no, I don't have nothing to say. And he just stared at him. And you can hear the alarm of the truck open the doors. You can hear the doors shut. And Jeff stopped the whole interview and just looked at him and stared at him. And if looks could kill, Hunter wouldn't be here right now. Right. And so people, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that. I got to find that interview, but somebody said, and I'm going to say allegedly too, I really believe the sole purpose of their hate toward Karmello is because they were trying to do to him what ended up happening to that brother. And that brother feels sorry for what happened because he is the reason that it happened. You see what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm like, something is, you know, and then think about it. Your brother, you know, especially your twin brother, you don't show up to court. Why are you not in court? No weapon has been produced. I said, no, it's something else story. It's something
and
else.
He didn't even testify. If my twin brother, or even if my little brother was in a position like that and he's gone, I'm going to be on that stand telling everybody about what you did to my brother. And I'm going to make sure the jury knows my grief, my hurt, my loss. So when they go back there and they deliberate, I want them to go and touch the sky when it comes for you to be locked up. He was not nowhere. Hid from testifying. They never called him to the stand to testify because they knew he couldn't. Because if he did, he was going to break down in guilt. And one thing y'all have to remember, he didn't show up in court until after the fact, after the jury was gone, because just his pure presence of walking in, seeing how tall he is, seeing how much bigger he is than Karmello, would have let the jury know that, wait a minute, this is a problem, because visual matter is in court. That's why they cut Karmelo's hair off, because visual matter. And so at the end of the day, all those things were red flags that should have let everybody know. And like I said in September of last year, that if they went to trial, Karmello was getting 30 years because they had no interest in the judicial system working the way it's supposed to. They just wanted to lock him away and then take him up out of here, because that's what the full intent was in the beginning from the Metcalf twins and their friends. Karmello wasn't supposed to make it past Kirkendall Stadium that day, period. He wasn't supposed to be here. And they were going to take him up out of here, and they were going to say it was self-defense, and they were standing their ground, and they had the right to castle doctrine. They were going to have all of that because it's Texas. And people don't understand that Texas law clearly states this when it comes to self-defense. If I have a reason to believe that you are about to cause me harm physically, any bodily injury to include death, I have the right to take you up out of here and let you go see Black Jesus. That's what the law says. You don't even have to touch me for that to be a reasonable belief. I have reason to believe I can take you up out of here. And case law and other cases that just happened in Texas around right before Karmello and after Karmello have proven that to be. But in this instance, it was friends taking care of friends, because Jeff Metcalf, DA Willis, the ADA that prosecuted this case, everybody involved, they all know each other from being in the Republican MAGA party and being out there in North Texas. Even the young lady that I have problems with that messed around with me and set me up, Tiffany, she has MAGA ties. And one of the dudes that's in the photo with them, she used to have me arrested. And so all these people have all these things that tie in. And also one of my sisters just texted me and said that dealing with the knife, it's alleged that one of the twins' initials were actually on the knife. That's why they did not show it in the courthouse. So we're going to say allegedly. But I know that Jeff Metcalf said that he gave them initial inscribed knives before that. And so we know that theirs have initials. That's why they didn't bring the knife. And that's why you only see it from one side. So you won't see the initials. And so those are the things that we have to be aware of, that Texas law stands on Karmelo's side and anybody's side, so you can go home the way you came. What didn't stand on his side was Judge Roach's courtroom, because Judge Roach was going to make sure, I don't care if Johnny Cochran was living and was in there, the outcome would have been the same, because it wouldn't have been nothing that Johnny Cochran could do to make that happen like it happened. And like I said, I've had many conversations with a lot of people. I've been boots on the ground since April the 2nd of last year on this case. I live in the area, so I know about this stuff. But I've also talked to people who were involved in this case, and still are talking to people. Just talked to somebody earlier that was intimately involved in this case, and it was set up from the beginning. The jurors and the potential jurors would tell you just the makeup of what was going on, that this was going to be this outcome regardless. And so we have to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do to get him up out of there and get him free, and also put pressure on Greg Abbott, which is our governor, and also on our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, to do what's right for him as well. And as someone just told me, because people are watching and they're texting me at the same time, they said they were going to lynch Karmelo. That's what their plan was. The kids, not the adults. So and if you look at the video, you can tell that it was a pre-planned moment that what they were doing. Yeah. And we know that by a young man that did a Snapchat video, and it said 2 minutes before. And that young man can be seen coming into the canopy. That's why I tell people it's a lot of information that's out there that they just don't know. And so when we get the full video, I'm going to post it, and I'm going to dictate that bad baby all the way through, because it was a lot of players, and there's a lot of video out there from these young people. I know that EP still has his, so I'm going to make that a moment out here too, because I've talked to some young people, said they seen it, that he was showing it. And so where he testified, he don't know, and he was faking like he was recording. No, he has it. He showed it to people. They were laughing and having a good time because of his jealousy about the person that's supposed to be his friend. And so those are the things we have to expose.
One of the things I want people to understand, because I've had experience with it, going to predominantly white schools, when white kids do stuff, they sweep it under the rug. You know, when black kids do something, they call the police and all of this. They don't do that on white kids. So I know some people in the chat will be like, ooh, they were doing that. No, no. White kids do whatever they want to do when they go to school. You know, they programs when white children get in trouble. Let me give you an example. If they're doing, drugs at school, they'll create a program, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to kick them out. They tailor to what they do. They do not kick them out of school like black kids are kicked out of school. So I want people to understand, because if you don't understand the culture, you'll say, no, they wasn't planning to do that. And you better believe if they were planning to do that and the grown-ups found out, they're going to sit them kids down and tell them what you better say, because we got to put it on him, because you guys got to go to school. They don't think about these kids are crazy. They need help. They need to spend some time in jail. They'll just put it on somebody else and let them live their life while this innocent person is in prison.
Correct. And I'm glad you said that, because the twins were known bullies to all the cities around and Frisco since the 4th grade. This is what they've been doing. They've been covering up for them. The twins were actually suspended from school. They were on what's called in-house suspension. They weren't supposed to be there because of that fact. And then also the coach testified, which we knew already, that both of them were actually off the team. They weren't supposed to be there, period. And so this is the different standard that's given to them versus us, because they were not supposed to be there at all. And the coach actually testified and said that he texted Austin and told him to step up. What are you stepping up to? because they came in that gate when you saw earlier with a purpose. And we always said that they were moving with a purpose, and he was putting his sleeves up, had his shorts all on. Everybody else in sweats. What you in shorts for? Because you were going over there with a purpose. You and your twin both looking just the same, with the same purpose. It's just Hunter wasn't built like Austin. Austin was the aggressor. Hunter was the problem starter, and then he let Austin finish it up. And so you can see that energy on them. And so, but this is a moment that they have been doing when they were harassing the cheerleaders at Kane's restaurant in Frisco. That girl sent her parents sent the email. They sent the email complaining about these kids to the administration. They swept it under the rug. Everything these twins have ever done has been swept under the rug. And that's the reason why Austin is not here today, because of his parents, because of the Frisco ISD, because that's the only ISD they've been in, have always swept them and their conduct under the rug. And they allowed them to get away with everything because Jeff Metcalf is their friend. He's known to them. And so since he's known to them, they give him that courtesy where they did not give it to Karmello. They didn't give it to a young man called his name is Tristan Weekly, where he was at the middle school and a lady went in there trying to abduct him. They had it on camera. His mama actually tried her best to work this thing out, and them people railroaded her around, changed the video, and railroaded us trying to get the information. So this is a Frisco problem, a Frisco ISD problem, a Frisco PD problem. When the detective was working on it, they reassigned him, and they told him that it's above his pay grade. So sit down somewhere. So this is a systematic moment that we're dealing with, because when they know they're protecting their own, because this person knew who that young man was. She called his name. This is his second day in middle school coming from 6th grade. It's his first day in 7th grade. Who knows him at the school already? And you know this young man's name. You call him, you drug him, and they found this young man miles away at somebody's doorstep that's on a Ring camera calling the popo because he's there. And the only thing they tell his mama is that what underwear he's wearing. And she's like, what? So this is a symptom, and this ties back into this case because they did the same thing to her, and people like myself that was trying to get information the same way they did it here, hiding it through Ken Paxton and all that. We just kind of outsmarted them on her part because she was listening, where the family didn't listen to what we were trying to tell them on this side. And so we're still trying to get justice both ways. But this is a moment to where it explains what they are allowing their people to do, because we know they know who this lady is because they told us they did without telling us. And the same thing here. They knew exactly what the twins had done. They knew all of this. Megan and Jeff knew it because they were already there. And Jeff tell you real quick, how you know? Were you there? And so it's like, well, Jeff, we know you were there because you keep speaking in first person. You don't speak as to what your sons and everybody told you. You keep telling us as a matter of fact that this happened. You saw your son, 5 people had to hold him back. How you know? You wasn't there. And so we have to know that this was something that the fight was fixed from the beginning. We knew that when they charged them with murder, when Austin was still living. We knew that. And so this is a moment to where we as a people have to understand this, and we have to work to protect ourselves. Don't mean we're not going to get locked up. Don't mean we're not going to have to deal with this thing from the moment like Karmello. But when we have people that are trying to help, please, people, listen. And that's something that Drew Anthony said in his interview. He was like, I wish I would have went rogue and listened to those people that they were telling me not to talk to. I was one of those people. And I was trying to tell him from September of last year, get rid of these folks. Let us file your motions and get this case dismissed. We'll get an attorney to go and argue it per hour. But let's get this done so he won't ever get to the courtroom. And we wouldn't all be here today talking about what we're talking about. And so that is the telltale that we need to take from here. Help this family get what they need. Let's keep Karmello protected and help him get home like soon. And let's correct the way the system works for us. And that's what we have to do. Correct the way it works for us. So then we can then benefit from what the law says.
Now, have you heard, Dwayne, as it relates to the autopsy? Because people have been telling me that they won't release that and that it is also sealed. So all of these are questions because I have did commentary on people that have passed away. I have got the autopsy. I put it on the screen. For you to seal an autopsy, there is too many things associated with this case that lets me know that this kid was set up.
Correct. I put in a PRI or PIR or a FOIA request for the autopsy in the beginning. It wasn't ready yet, so we were waiting on it. Once it became ready, of course, I petitioned them like, "Hey, we know it's ready." All of a sudden, we get a leak from the ME's office of what it would contain. And usually, when they leak, they'll switch up some numbers or something on a birth date or something, but they're giving you pretty much the information that's in it. And it showed that Austin had allegedly drugs in his system. Then that's when they came out and said, no, it's false, it's false. And then next thing you know, we get a letter from the AG's office saying that they can't release it now. And so we're waiting on all of that. I've already put my information into the AG's office, letting them know this case has been adjudicated. They're relying on your old rulings because he hasn't said anything else on this case since last year. And so we're waiting for him to respond so he can get this release. I know that he knows because that's how we got this courtroom stuff done, because I don't think they wanted to release that either. And so, but they had to. And so we'll get it. But one thing I can say is that we have talked to students who know both parties and who were there. And they said that they saw with their own eyes Austin popping pills that morning. And I'm gonna say allegedly, but I know I talked to those people. I know we talked to those people. We have that information. And so since that information is there, we know from several, not just that person, but several students in the community that says he is a known person taking that moment. And it fits based on what we know medically happened that day, because there's no way a poke like that from a tool like that would cause you to be up out of here within hours. And we know from their testimony in the court that he had turned purple. That's what they said. And they said they administered blood to him and he came back normal. So they stabilized him at the scene. They transported him to the furthest hospital they can go to. And he was alive when he got there. He crashed when he got there and he wasn't here no more. Right. We know that at 10:54 a.m. So we understand those facts.
Also, when and I wasn't there, so I don't know the timeline. I just listened to what everybody was saying, but it don't seem like they took him to the hospital right away. So it leads me to believe that they didn't feel like it was an emergency. You know what I mean? I don't remember that, obviously, the time frame. I have no reports, but I heard the mom say, that she had beat them to the hospital. And then the father was called and he stated that when he got there, he was still there. So I'm wondering, like, why have they not taken this kid to the hospital? So it's leading me to believe that whatever this injury was, that they did not think it was a life-threatening injury.
Correct. They treated him like it was a cardiac issue. Because if it was something that you were bleeding out or something like that, they're going to rush you immediately to the closest place to get you stable. Then they'll get you to a trauma 1 to take care of you after that. But the way that they paused, stopped, and parked by the medical, because there's a medical wing that's right there to the right of this stadium, that's right there facing it. And then on the back of that is a training area. They had staff there. And so the ambulance pulled up to there. They were the first people working on him. So they stabilized him in the cardiac moment. And at that point, they were just basically addressing his wound or whatever they were doing. When they took him to Plano, Texas Health, they got there. He was transported there under a cardiac moment, not under blood loss, not under any of those things. And so once he got in there, he crashed because now all those extra substances that he had been taking, now his body is in some type of shock. And that's why he got up out of here. You heard well, y'all probably didn't hear it, but the medical examiner said that he could have died from multiple things. Multiple. And so that fits that moment. And let's address Megan and Jeff. Jeff Metcalf was called to the stadium by the middle school coach, not the track coaches, but the middle school coach. And the middle school coach wouldn't have known what was going on because he has to actually teach a class. So he called Jeff to another incident that happened earlier that day or that morning that the twins were actually involved in. That's the reason why they were coming from the middle school. Megan also worked in Grapevine, Texas, at the pizzeria. She had been called there as well. So she was at the actual middle school area. She left there to go to work. And that's when Hunter said he called his phone and his mom picked up. These are all their statements. They talk too much. So I'm going to repeat what they say. And so Hunter said he called his phone, his mom picked up, and he told her about what happened to Austin. That's when she turned around and went to the hospital, and that's how she beat them to the hospital. And so these are facts that's already in record because they can't shut up and they talk themselves. So we're just going to tell the truth on them by their own words. And so they knew this situation was happening, and that's why you had them doing what they were doing, because these other kids didn't like Karmello. They were jealous of Karmello. They know because half of them were bullied by these twins. Now they became friends with the bullies that they had to deal with. And they all had a plan to get rid of Karmello. And I think it has a lot to do with the young lady that was from Emerson High School. Because if everybody listen, you'll hear on the dispatch calls, it says that we're looking for the suspect from Emerson. Then it says we found the suspect from Emerson. And that's when the body cam footage picks up where that SRO officer is actually arresting Karmello, patting him down, walking him on the fence line to get him. And he said, I have the suspect in custody. But on the dispatch, it's telling you that when they got there, because the medical people couldn't come because they have to find the suspect first. And that's why you see them walking past that officer, because they got the clear once he put him in custody. But they were looking for a kid from Emerson because these boys protected that young lady from them actually doing what they were trying to do to her, because she was the only one there from Emerson at the time. And so that's why they thought Karmello was from Emerson, because it was already an incident that they don't want to talk about, that the twins were already involved in that morning. And that's why the mom and the dad was already on scene. That's why Jeff is telling you all these firsthand accounts that they have. And I'll say allegedly, just so we can keep it all kosher. But this is what this is. They were involved from the beginning. They started covering up because Jeff knew the police officers. He probably knew half of the EMS workers. He knew the staff. He knew all those people. Them people scared of that man because he probably sold most of them their house or know the people that did. It's a lot of stuff there, and they love doxing people. We have the photo from Jeff on his own Facebook page where he actually had a barbecue for most of the kids that actually witnessed this thing, and that's why they weren't testifying. And the ones that did all told the company line, except for Jose. When he got up there testifying, he told exactly what Karmelo's situation was. They took a recess, took that boy into the chambers, and when they came out, that boy was scared as don't know what, and he was sitting there not knowing what to say. This is what we dealt with in that courtroom. And so at the end of the day, the fight was already fixed, and we just need to call out what it is so we can get these people locked up and we can get Karmello home.
I don't remember, Dwayne, was it you? Somebody posted something on, I think it was Instagram, and it was a post that allegedly this was a post that Jeff Metcalf posted. And in there, he started talking about the witnesses that they had this barbecue. And I was like, is this real for real? Like, this is witness.
That's real.
Intimidation.
That's real. And I'll send you the picture. I'll send you the picture of his actual Facebook post, because he actually posted that day that they were having a barbecue and the kids are right there in the back and he's smiling and it's on his post. Yeah, he posted it. That's how arrogant and entitled they are.
Exactly. When I saw that, I said, is this real? Because I couldn't believe what I was reading. And it was literally saying something about, the students, the witnesses. And I was like, huh? Why are we advertising that we have the witnesses at my house and we're having a picnic? I said, no, this has to be fake. Like, this is not real. But you're saying
it's real.
in fact
It's
fake.
real.
It's real. It
Yeah,
is real.
it's him. It's him. He did it. So he, like I said, they could not sit down when he was up there on TikTok for 18 hours talking to them people. You had an attorney come in the live and actually told him to get down, and he stayed up anyway. And it ended because he called somebody the N word and all that good old stuff. And then they stopped. He dropped. He went on somebody else's page for another few hours, and then they got off. But this is just how arrogant and how crazy these people are, because they have no chill button. They have no stop button. They just know to be who they are because they've been so entitled all their lives because of this lineage they have in Collin County and in the North Texas area and in the MAGA Republican Party. They just feel they're always going to be covered, just like his criminal history. That man violated somebody. They said
Right.
no means no, and he went and did it anyway. But guess what? DA Willis and his people sealed it, so you can't see it. But Frisco PD actually said, "Yeah, we have the record. We just can't share it with you." And
Right.
so it's a moment to where he's privileged enough to always get the benefit that they're going to cover him, and that's why they do these things. And so at some point, we have to take that privilege away and let them start reaping the benefits of the things they sown.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Emerson situation? Because I feel like I've heard it, but I'm just trying to connect that with what actually happened. Was there like a another female involved? What do you know about that situation?
From what I know, and I'll say allegedly, because I don't want to put nobody out there. So from what I know, is that the young lady was there for the track meet from to represent her school, and they had been bullying people all morning. So she was an underclassman, and just like most of those kids, they were bullying, and they've been messing with people all morning while they were setting up canopies. That's what Hunter and Austin was doing, and they got to her, and other students stepped up. And so at this point, that's why that you heard, well, you probably heard of people saying that they call Carmelo the N word and other people the N word, because that's what they were, because they were defending leaving this young lady alone. She was the only one there from her school. It was nobody else from Emerson, just her. And so that is, I think, what actually set the catalyst that now this goody two shoes, Carmelo, needs to go. And
Ah,
because they didn't like him, because he was protecting the Special Olympic kids, the special needs kids. That's where people start talking about the incident from the year before. He was standing up for a special needs kid because he was being bullied, and Carmelo stood up to those people. He volunteered for the Special Olympics. When they came to the Little Elm Lobo Stadium, I used to see him there through YouTube, because they streamed it live, and you would see him on that field helping and volunteering. And so this is the moment that they did not like. They were in a gated community. They felt that his family was well to do, all these different things. And he was always smiling and laughing, and everybody liked him. So at some point, it just becomes a jealousy moment. He had this beautiful girlfriend that how did he get her? All this kind of moment. And I think that when these boys went to that middle school, and I'm going to say allegedly, and their parents were there, and all of them was over there. And when they got back and they heard, because one of them kids text them either on Snapchat or on their phone, and said he's up under the canopy because EP is the one that invited him. That's when they got the message to come. And that's how Hunter left his phone in his mama's car. That's why he said, I called my phone and my mama answered. That's what he said. And so at the end of the day, they knew. And I think they were like, go get him.
right.
That's what I'm going to say. They were like, go get him. And that's why they walk with such an urgency to come
Right.
over there. And they came right over there to get Carmelo. They didn't tell no other kid that was under that canopy that did not go to Memorial to move. Only Carmelo.
Right. And you know what? Because I remember when I was young and we used to do stuff that we had no business. That's how we was walking. They
Yeah,
came in their own bullshit. Like they did not
yeah,
come. You can feel the energy, although we couldn't hear no sound. They came there on that. They came there to do something to him. So I'm glad you established a situation with him helping people, and they were like, we don't like him. We don't need you to help nobody, because that makes me understand. Okay, somewhere in their mind, they said, we don't like this kid. And then,
yeah,
as I think about, and I shouldn't say that, but when I heard that the father said, you don't deserve the things you have, I'm in my
Yeah.
mind saying, who says that? Like, I am not involved in anyone's life enough that I know what they have to the point that I say, you don't deserve that because I don't care. I'm not
Yeah.
involved in him like that. But when he said those words, it made me know this is a grown ass man that is jealous of a child because
Correct.
I understand they're saying that he allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, because I don't know if he actually did that, unalived your son, but I would never say you don't deserve the stuff you have. So when he said that, it made me think. And then they were planning all of these stories saying these people bought a house with the money, they bought a car. The house and the car that they're talking about, these were things that they had prior to. So now I'm
Correct.
starting to think, oh, they want to plant this this story out to people because what they don't want you to do is donate money to them. I don't know if
Correct.
you knew this, but I started a donation on my page. We had raised $4,000 in 24 hours. Do you know them hunkies call and
Yeah.
see? I remember what I told you about how they can do it. You remember we had that
Yes.
conversation? Well,
Most definitely.
I own the website. Okay. It was my website. I had my payment portal. Do you know these folks call the company? Well, the company obviously they took it off. I called them, they put it back on. They didn't know what had happened, but I know somebody within their company know some of them people, and that is why they took it off. So they eventually put it
Correct.
back on. But then what they had done, they had contacted my first payment processor. I don't know what they told those people. All I know is I was just like, okay, I'm just going to switch to somebody else. I don't have time to be, jumping through hoops. They ended up contacting my second payment processors, which I'm going to tell y'all is GoDaddy. Don't do business with them. They ended up contacting them. I don't know what they did. So once they, put the website back up, they like, we don't know. I'm like, listen, I need to speak to a supervisor because I know somebody intentionally did this, right? They
Correct.
couldn't figure out how to put the payment processor back. And at this point, I said, you know what? I don't even want the website anymore because if they can just call somebody and have them take it, I don't want to have this type of relationship. So I said, okay, I refunded everybody money. I said, we'll come up with another plan. But it just goes to show how nasty and dirty these people is. And what it shows me is that he's very much innocent because you're going through too much so that he doesn't have a fair trial. So it tells me right there that he's innocent because if he did what you said he did, you wouldn't be wasting your time trying to make sure he doesn't get money to have a new trial.
Correct. Correct. And I want to let people know the jealousy is from this. Andrew Anthony, Kayla Hayes Anthony, they have done an excellent job of providing, raising, nurturing, and being there for their kids. They also did an excellent job of making sure their kids didn't have to go through things that maybe they saw growing up in their lives. And I can't fault them for that. Nobody should fault them for that. They moved them to Texas, to North Texas. They gave them an excellent life. They gave them a nurturing life. That man worked hard every day so his wife can be at home and be involved and make sure their kids had everything they had. That woman has guilt right now because she wished she could have been there that day when she was taking care of something else. Those are things that this family was doing for each other. They made sure that these kids had everything they had. And because of these entitled bullies in the whole family, from Jeff Metcalf on down, they had the caucasity to be in the Anthony's business and worry about how they were providing for their family. Even to the point after he got arrested, they had people riding through their gated community in the back of a truck with weapons, running around screaming and hollering. For what reason? And it's like, y'all both are in Frisco. Why are you mad that neither one of y'all working? That's your fault. That's Megan's fault for working at a pizzeria. And so at the end of the day, we just need to understand that from the beginning of when they got here, I ain't talking about us, but when they got here, those folks have not liked anything that we've ever done or stood for. And to them, we're not supposed to ever have nothing. Neither one of us is supposed to have these cell phones to even be on these moments or devices in their eyesight, because the caucasity of them says that we're not supposed to. But I'm going to tell everybody, leave the Anthonys alone. Those people have done nothing but work hard, provide, and they were met with a situation that they didn't know how to deal with. So they trusted a lot of people, and they just didn't know what else to do. Leave Dominique Alexander alone. I'm gonna say that now, because the man he was just the spokesperson. He didn't know what to do as well outside of what he was told to do. That's just bottom line. He can advise, but he can only do what he's told to do. These people have done everything they could. That man was up there in Chicago with Obama and them the other day. And I know he's told a lot of those well-to-do people about this Carmelo Anthony thing because he was posting about it. And so people need to understand that the campaign right now is to make sure that anybody that stands up for Carmelo is discredited and put out the pasture. That's all this is about. I just received a death threat just today. I've been receiving them every day. Right. And that's just what this thing is about. And so we need to understand that part, that it's about discrediting the things that we as a community do every day. And that family did nothing wrong, but just exist and show up that day and live the way they're supposed to live. They didn't care that much about Carmelo and that family so much. They didn't even follow their own rules. That's Frisco ISD. They didn't even call the family and tell them where the boy was, that he was in custody. Kayla found out because someone told her something happened at the stadium, and she tried to call him and couldn't get him. So she tracked his phone and found him at the police station. Right. That is crazy.
Yep. She stated something about the location.
Correct.
But you're right. They didn't tell her. And so my sole purpose for really helping them is because that's what I saw in them. Like, I don't know. People be like, can you tell them this? And I'd be like, I don't know them. Like, people find it strange that I don't know them. I don't know them. I have never met them. When I see them, I see two people that stated that they moved their family away because they wanted to give them a better life. You have a, married husband and wife. And I just, as a mother, I can just understand how she's feeling to move her family to this place and have her son to be in prison. And I don't feel like he did this. So I just felt like, you know what? I'm going to do what I can do to help. That's all I can do is what I can do. I said, listen, I'm on YouTube. We finna change it. We're finna start putting out content about this because I don't have to know them. I have a family. My sons are grown, and I'm telling you, they better than me, because if it was me, a bunch of kids would be missing because I'm
You're right about it. Yeah.
So folks mess with mine. Yeah. I do the eye for an eye. Okay. I done told y'all I'm a little crazy. Pray for me. So my heart went out to them. And what people don't understand too, if you don't have experience in the legal system, you don't know how it works. Like everybody don't know that, you get a lawyer that they're supposed to represent you right, or you think they're going to represent you right. They don't understand it. So I can understand how they would have made that mistake with this lawyer. People just, they don't understand. Every Black person ain't been to jail before. Every Black person ain't been to prison before. So people don't seem to understand that. So when they come over here, I'm biased. I block them. When I see your messages and it's negative, because I feel like this is a different story. Although Carmelo is an adult, to me, he's a child because it happened when he was 17. I feel like he had to spend several years going through this. You throw him in jail. Come on now. So I'm very biased when it comes to this. So if you're in my chat and I see you and you're negative, you get blocked. That's just
immediately. You're right about it. And that's the reasoning that this is. When you seen, I know myself, when I heard from it, I heard about it from people calling me that morning and saying, hey, this is what's going on. And so I started paying attention. I was in that area driving at the time. And I was like, okay. So people started telling me. And when I heard who it was, I was like, man. And then someone was like, hey, that's that young man that's always helping out the special needs and this and that and that and this. And I was like, okay, I've seen him on YouTube before. I know who that may be. And so that was that moment. Then when they started talking about the details, and these are kids talking about the details, putting out posts, like, one little kid put out a post saying, I hope he learned to keep his hands to himself now in heaven. And they were talking about Austin. These are kids in school at that time, sending out posts saying this about Austin Metcalf. So it began to spin in my mind to start looking into it, talking to people. And when I found out about more about Karmello, then it was like, okay, no, these kids, everybody's saying that they jumped him, that they approached him. Other folks that would be in know saying the same thing. That's what made me want to go see the video. And once I did all of that, I understood then that this young man deserved my attention to make sure he was okay. And I put my background, my life, and everything in the fray behind it because I didn't care. Because my thing was that he didn't need to experience what I've experienced and other people experienced in prison. Bottom line. And so I didn't want that for him. So that's why I moved like I moved and did the things like I did, and I still am now. And I took off for 2 weeks. I lost money as a business because I was there at the trial, because it's all about Karmello and his family, making sure that he has everything he needs to be free. And that's period. And I think that's what we have to understand, that this life is sometimes greater than ourselves. And we may look at it not like that, but it is. Sometimes we do have to step out of our comfort zone and stand up and stomp for someone else. And I'm willing to put my life down for my kids and my grandkids. You try mine, it's over with for you. I'm just going to tell you that. However, the same thing, I feel the same way about Karmello, and he ain't even mine. But I saw the look in Kayla Anthony's face when she got up there and did that press conference. I seen the look. I've heard the voice of Andrew Anthony on TikTok when that man was sitting up there talking, and then he just went to a whisper and said, "Bro, they all connected." That was that grown man on TikTok, almost breaking his whole body down after he been beat down. People come to his job, making him have to resign. People threatening his family where he had to move several times, receiving threats to his kids, his wife. This man is, look, I seen all that, and at that point in time, that was family to me. Period.
And
family.
One thing you said too, Dwayne, and I'm gonna address this because please stop sending me stuff telling me about somebody's background. We are right here today talking about a kid that we know he didn't do anything wrong. We also know that the justice system is not fair. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. I'm not here to judge anybody's background. I done told y'all I used to beat folks up. Okay, so I am not God. I brought Dwayne here because he saw the video. I don't care about nothing else y'all talking about. Okay. So if you send me a message, I will block you about it. I don't care about that. If somebody saw something and they were a witness, anything else, I do not care about. That is not, something that, I need to really know, because again, we're talking about a situation here where a kid has been railroaded. But you don't think that this also happened to other people. So, I mean, next topic, please. I just thought that was, important, because people seem to think that I care about things as if we didn't have a conversation already. So I don't
Most
really
definitely
care about the small things. Now, so you kind of got into like the video, and what have you heard? Because obviously you're in Texas, I'm way in Georgia. What have you heard from people in Texas as it relates to what they've heard or what you've heard that, kids may have stated?
Basically, the kids were saying pretty much everything we see on the video. They were basically saying that these twins were known bullies, that they were, that them and others were jealous of Karmello, and that they caused this. Some of the kids were saying that it was Hunter's knife in the beginning. I'm talking about last year, that Hunter pulled it out. And one kid said that Karmello reached behind him to grab it because he saw it, because he was trying to get away. And so there was a lot of conversation that the kids had, that their families were threatened. One man, he came out early, and his two daughters was there. And he mentioned about Karmello minding his business and these people doing that to him. All of a sudden, he just disappeared. So I guess he might have been on parole or something, and they threatened him. You had a lot of people they threatened. They threatened a white lady. She actually was speaking up on it in the beginning on TikTok, and all of a sudden she disappeared. And
What do you know?
it was I don't remember her name. I would have to go back and look through. Maybe
Okay.
took a screenshot of it or something. So I have to look through it and send it to you. But it was a lot of people that spoke up on this case in the beginning, and all of a sudden they were not there no more. Also,
Okay.
people have to remember is that the footage that these kids filmed from their actual phones and Snapchat and Instagram and all that, it was online on the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th of April of last year. I saw
You
it.
you
Many
said
people saw it. Yeah. And so all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore. And that's because Jeff Metcalf, allegedly, I'll say that, Sarah Fields, all these people start working and contacting these folks. She actually said, Sarah Fields, on her own page and her own mouth, and said that I'm going to reach out to all these families and make sure that we get them individual lawyers. It's what she said. She didn't do that. She don't have that kind of money, but she did reach out for them and or to them, and they began to threaten these people and accost these people not to cooperate, not to testify, get their information, get their stuff. And so there were several videos of this moment. One of the videos surfaced on TikTok and Snapchat through a link, just not a couple of months ago, a few months ago, right before the trial, and people were able to see it, but it disappeared. It was like a disappearing link. No one screen recorded it, but several people got to see what we saw that didn't get a chance to see it at Frisco ISD. All of a sudden, them people stopped because I'm pretty sure they found out who they were and they threatened them. And so the thing is, this was deeper than just Frisco and Collin County. This thing was a Texas-wide thing, and it had to do with politics, people getting these seats, getting these elections, and getting money. And it started with the jealousy of teenagers and their parents not cartelling them and stopping them from doing whatever. But it became a much more larger thing because now the whole machine started working. And that's what we're seeing right in front of us. But that's what everybody was talking about in the streets. The kids, the parents, people that used to work for Frisco ISD that had knowledge. All those people were talking about this like, hey, they're doing Karmelo wrong. He didn't do anything. He was defending himself. That's what the streets were saying. But also, they were actually blocking information. And that means that the local news media was not talking about it. A lot of people in the DFW area thought this trial was over with and already done. So when we were all out there at the courthouse with signs and all that, they were like, what's going on? And we're like, Carmelo Anthony trial. Didn't they already do that? That's what people were saying. People that live right there in McKinney, right there from Frisco. They didn't know. And so that is what happened. And I'm telling you, every day since April the 2nd, we have been talking about Karmelo, getting evidence, putting it out there. But it was always a concerted effort on all these social media sites to suppress that information. And so a lot of people just didn't hear. All this I'm telling you, a lot of stuff we're finding out about Jeff Metcalf's background, the background of the DA, the background of the judge, all that stuff we talked about last year. But it was so suppressed and people didn't have no interest to where that information never got out past us and a few other people. And so now it's such a big thing to now everybody's got it. And that's why I tell people, give the information, let people talk about it, because those people can take it where we couldn't. And that way we can get this thing done and get justice for Karmelo, which ultimately gets justice for Austin, because Austin would still be here if his hard-headed brother hadn't been jealous with his friends of Karmelo. Because it wasn't Austin who was jealous of him, it was Hunter.
Right.
And Austin is not here no more because of that. Go ahead, sis.
Right. I want to jump in and say this because you stated, and I want to reiterate, and this ain't allegedly, the DA Willis, which is the district attorney that prosecuted Karmelo, has been sued by several women in the district attorney office for being nasty. Okay. Now, y'all can understand what I mean when I say being nasty, groping, doing nasty stuff. This is the district attorney with his nasty tail being sued by people he worked with. Now, let's get into the judge. The Judge Roach, he's crooked as well. He had gotten in trouble. I think, I don't remember the correct verbiage for it, but he received some kind of reprimand for using the court to sell books. So he had some book, I guess, that he had produced with his wife, and people had complained about him because he had used the court basically to make money for himself. So Judge Roach is a crook as well. Now it gets even deeper because his father, okay, Judge Roach's father, who used to be a district attorney before, had gotten sued and got in some legal trouble as well. Because what I want you guys to do, if you have time, go look up 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐿. 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐿 was a judge. She had won her seat as a judge. They came after 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜. They trumped up charges against her, gave her 10 years. I think it was like 10 years probation of something like that, because what they wanted her to do is basically not be a judge, because they were upset that she had unseated a judge, pretty much. Because what they were doing, when I read her complaint, she stated that they would just, basically give the position to their friends, whoever they wanted, and that these people would have these judge positions for their life. Now, generally a state judge or, a county judge or whatever, their position is not forever. It's really only for federal judges. But ultimately, they trumped up charges against her. She had to go and get the charges reversed, which it ended up happening. But the Court of Appeal said that they never had evidence to even charge her. So when y'all say Karmelo is guilty, the judge, she received the same fate. She went through a jury trial, everything, and she was found guilty. Okay. So I don't know what they're doing in Collin County, but it's a lot of corruption. So she ultimately came back and she sued them. She was trying to go after them individually, but Judge Roach, and I think it was Governor Abbott, who was actually then a attorney general, they actually stated, okay, she can't sue us by ourselves, because we were acting in the capacity of our job. So they're very much corrupt. I just wanted to re-emphasize that so that people know what we were talking about. But yes, they are most definitely corrupt.
Yeah, and they've done this many a times before. That's why it was a well-oiled machine to railroad Karmelo. And because they're used to it. Judge Roach Jr., who is the presiding judge right now, and Judge Roach Sr., which is his dad, Greg Willis, Ken Paxton, all of them folks know each other. And so they all are in this well-oiled machine together to railroad people. That's just that moment. We got to think about it. Jake Lane, the white supremacist dude that was out there during the case, he threatened Karmelo. He threatened to unalive Karmelo right there on the grounds. They arrested him for it. $1 million bond. He was in jail. Guess who lowered his bond? Judge Roach. Gave him his conditions, did all that stuff, and Judge Roach didn't have to touch that. He has a conflict of interest because that person that he threatened to unalive was your your case. So you should have not even touched it, but he touched it anyway, because they don't care. They don't care about what it looks like. They don't care about any of that stuff. And so that is their caucasity. That's what I call it. That is them just taking that right that they think they have and doing whatever they want to do, because they think that their stuff don't stink and no one can stop them. And that's what they feel. And so that is why it's important to call this stuff out, like Candace Matthews did when she came up and did the protest thing on the county steps in Collin County. First thing she did is went pulled up records that a lot of people didn't know. We knew, but a lot of people didn't know that even Judge Roach had been charged for messing with an underage kid. And so that's why they did what they did and dismissed all those charges back in.
Go back, Dwayne. You going too fast now.
Oh, my bad.
Because I gotta get Dr. Candace Matthews. You said Judge Roach did what now?
Yeah, Candace Matthews actually uncovered that Judge Roach was actually charged at some point in time. I'll say accused. Let's go that way. Let's keep it PC. That Judge Roach was accused of messing with an underage child. And so this is that moment. She brought it. She pulled it up. She said they forget that she got that kind of action. She could do that. And so she was like, the whole moment was fraudulent. And so that's the reason why they stopped To Catch a Predator back in the day, because of the Judge Roach Jr., when he was DA back in the day. They actually dismissed all the charges to all those people that got caught, because his friend who was an assistant DA in another county, killed himself because he got caught. And when they dismissed it, his wife, the widow, sued To Catch a Predator, and that's the reason why their show got offline. And we know that because we actually spoke to Chris Hansen and his wife, and they told us what happened. And so those are verified events. And so these are the people, and it doesn't have to just do with Collin County. It has to deal with the people that get in these positions, and that's how they act, and that's how they work. And we got to remember, Ken Paxton, our Attorney General, that man was under federal indictment since 2004. I think he just settled that stuff just not 2 or 3 years ago. He did some kind of deal to make them folks get off. But his friends politically was always covering him. And that's why they never were able to lock him up. Because these people are just fraudulent. They talk about everybody else, but they're just fraudulent to the core. So everything they touch, they're going to always be fraudulent. Right. Always be fraudulent. And that's what they did here. They just basically took everything else that they knew, and they applied it here in Karmelo's situation to railroad him.
Right. Did you hear Judge Roach? And I don't know if this is true. Somebody stated that he was running for office or something. Did you hear anything like that?
No, say it again. Say it again.
Did you hear that the Judge Roach, the Carmelo Anthony's trial judge, somebody said he was running for office? Now, I don't know if it's true, but they told me, and I said, I don't live in Texas, so I wouldn't know that.
What we do know is last year, before this trial, he announced that he wasn't going to run or seek election again as a judge. He was going to retire from the judgeship. Normally when they do this stuff, we knew also he was going to write a book. Him and his wife they were going to document this, write a book. Normally when they do this kind of stuff, they do go into higher offices. They do seek to take over. And in this case, we got to remember that Ken Paxton just ran to become on the federal side. And so his position is going to be open. So all these people always got their friends coming into the next position. Yes. So we may hear him announce that he's going into whatever position next. And that's what it's always about with them. Being in power, having their corrupt friends in power so they continue to do the things that they do every day.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I said just because of this case, I'm not in Texas. I can't vote in Texas. I do not live in Texas. But there are, and maybe you can be a part of that panel to come back, because what I want to do is, because again, I'm not there, is educate people on the candidates that's coming up in Texas, because we don't know, for one, you should be, voting anyway. But as it relates to this Carmelo Anthony case, I know when I had the attorney, I just can't remember her name. She's on Instagram. I think it's the Opinion Court. She has stated that they're going to be 3 availabilities, and that I think she said the Senate. I don't remember, but I thought that would be, an interesting topic for people who live in Texas that's watching, to get out and vote, register people to vote, because all of this,
yes,
depending on who is, all of this stuff work together. We got to get these corrupt people out of office.
Correct. And we have to put pressure on the ones that's there. So that's why I said people need to pressure not Greg Willis, pressure the Attorney General Ken Paxton and Governor Greg Abbott to do what's right for Karmelo. And because we're their constituents in Texas, everybody else outside, you're a federal constituent of his, because you actually control a lot of the dollars that Texas have to pay out and also receive. And so if we put those things into the atmosphere and let them know that, hey, we're not going to take this. And so since we're not going to take this, y'all need to step up and do what's right. That's how Kim Kardashian and them get them to do stuff, even though they don't agree with them politically. If we put enough pressure on them, they will step up and they will actually pardon Karmelo and get him out. And they'll explain to their people why. They do it all the time, but we have to pressure them to do that because they are in power right now. And then we work to get them out of office.
Right. Yes, I think that needs to be the strategy, because based on everything that I have saw, I don't know what they're going to do with this case. I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like there is something out there where if you done messed up this case, that it can't be retried. Because I'm sorry, I don't feel like this case can be prosecuted in Collins County. It just cannot. Like whatever they're going to do with this case, they either going to throw it away. But I don't feel like Carmelo can get a fair trial in Collins County. I just don't.
Well, the appeals circuit that's going to hear it, they're actually in Dallas County. And so once they hear it, depending on how, and it's all about wording. So as however the appeals attorney words it, saying that the harm is done and what needs to be done in the appeal, they can do a multiple of things. And one thing I have seen them do, or any appeals court, when it's alleged that all three sectors of it was doing the defendant wrong, and in this case, the judge, the DA, and the defense attorneys, then what they can do is they can move the whole entire case if they feel that it need to be retried to a different county. Being that it's in Dallas County, most likely they would just move it to Dallas County. But they can also say that there was so much harm done because of the way things were done that they can vacate the sentence and the judgment and just dismiss the whole thing. And they can do it with prejudice that it won't be tried again. It's all about what the appealing attorney actually wording and what they asked for. That's what it's about.
I did hear that. I did hear that the appellate attorney, when they submit the appeal, they have to say that at that time that we can't have this in Collin County. So we'll see how that works. Now, what do you think? And this is kind of like your thoughts. What do you think in terms of the family living? I mean, they're not still in this county. Did they move out of Collins County?
I'm not going to say that they actually moved out of Collin County, or that they're still in Collin County. I don't think it really matters the county. What people have to understand that even while we were there at the courthouse, you're dealing with the Collin County Sheriff's Department that whole time. And to just be honest with you, a lot of them were really not understanding how this thing turned out the way it turned out. I'll put it that way. And so being that that's the case, them being in Collin County is a big county, if they are still in Collin County. And they will not face that in most of the cities that they will be living in. Whether in Collin County, Denton County, whether in Dallas County, whether in Tarrant County, whether up in the Sherman area, out in that county area, they won't face that type of moment, living wise. Your problem in these type of moments, and that's in all red states in this union, you face problems when you get hooked up in their system. And if you don't know how to deal with the system and know how to navigate that system and listen to the people that do, you find these type of situations. If we did things the way we were supposed to have, we wouldn't have never gave them the opportunity to be able to do this to him, because they have to have opportunity. The judge is only controlling so much, and that's his courtroom. He can't control the next courtroom. The DA is only controlling so much. If he don't have the case, he can't do nothing with it. Frisco PD can only do so much when you allow them to do it. And so those are the things that we have to learn as a people, that we have to have the right, proper people in place everywhere to force them to do the right thing. And if they don't, we can force them about the way or force them in jail themselves. And so those are the things that we have to address more so. And so I believe that even now that this is over with, and even when Carmelo comes back home, because I know he will, I believe that they just need to get them a place rurally here in Texas and just go ahead and live their lives. Get you a couple of acres or a few acres so you can see what's going on and just live, because you're not going to find too many places to live better than Texas to grow your family, make money, and do the things you got to do, because we don't have no state income tax and all that stuff. So you can really make your money and really do what you have to do for your family. With that said, you still have to educate your kids and yourself on the laws knowing the laws, and being able to protect yourself if you do find yourself on the other side of the law. And I think that's what we have to understand, because that's prevalent in any state you live in. People run to California all the time, and they find out real quick. You'll find yourself in the penal system real quick in California, because what Carmelo went through, you have to take 15-step program before you even get to the point of defending yourself in California. And that's one of the most liberal states in the union. And so we have to understand, it's not really about the place. It's about us knowing about the place and protecting ourselves. And we have done a poor job in the state of Texas politically of not keeping these people out of office. We've just said, oh, it doesn't affect me. It's not affecting my paycheck. It's not affecting my house. It's not affecting my car or my bank account. So I'm not voting today. Because in Texas, we have more registered Democrats than we do registered Republicans. I repeat that. In Texas, we have way more registered Democrats than we do Republicans. So there's no reason why we should be a Republican-led state. The reason why we are, because most of those registered Democrats do not vote.
That's what
And
Jasmine.
the ones that, yeah, and the ones that do, they tend to vote for the folks that don't even have their best interests, because they listen to the national media about people like Jasmine Crockett that actually stand up for her district, whether you're white, black, or in between. They listen to the national media and say, oh, she don't do her job. She always on TV. And they don't vote for her because of that. And that's just the ignorance of people, of the electorate, not paying attention that you have the power. So put the people up that's going to run that you like and vote for them and keep these crazy people out of office. And we never would have a Judge Roach. We never would have a DA Willis. And we wouldn't have to be worried about this right now, because Carmelo wouldn't have never been charged, because it was self-defense.
Right. Yeah. So I think what I was saying is, I'm not, and I tell my audience all the time, I call them hunkies. You know, they think they're better than you.
Yeah.
The color
Yeah.
of your skin, you know, that's who they are. Now, I like white people. I don't like hunkies. So I could never live around them. I could never, never. I could never even live in their area. I tell people on my channel, where I know they live, I don't go, because I feel like if you're racist and you don't like people like me, stay out there. You ain't got to worry about me coming out there, because I don't tend to go to places, because I know how this racism works. And then we got this new crazy president in office. I don't go places where I know if I got to call the police, there won't be no black ones. If I think they're all going to be white, I more than likely won't be driving my car that way. I just don't want to deal with it, because I know how they operate. I just do. I just avoid. I avoid.
And that's the key. You know, we have a city that's called DeSoto, Texas. It's right south of Dallas. It's still part of the whole Dallas County moment. And I think 80% is black. And this is a well-to-do city that I think the median income for the state of Texas anyway is around somewhere around about in the 80s as far as people's income. You have a lot of $1 million mansions down that way with land and everything else. A lot of your businesses are black owned. And so you have that type of moment. It's just that we don't usually take advantage, because we do try to go live near everybody, because we want our kids to be diverse. We want our kids to be this and that and all this good stuff. But even in that diversity, find a community that fits for you and fits for what you got going down. There's so many places you can move that the majority of the folks look like you. And you don't have to be in a place where you're the only person of color and everybody else is as white as your t-shirt. You don't have to do that. And so we have to start making those decisions better. So when we get into these type of situations, we do not find ourselves alone and trying to situate ourselves for our family. And so that is the key. And it's okay. Let's get our money together, go buy some of this land that's free, and let's go start building our own communities. Everybody else do it. And so let's stop relying on everybody else to have our best self-interest. Let's have our own, and let's stop all this extra and protect each other and support each other and be there for each other. Start building our own schools, start getting our own banks, start getting our own institutions. That way we don't have these problems, because it'll be us controlling us and protecting us.
Right. All right, Dwayne, I really appreciate you. I'm gonna text you, but I want to answer a few of these questions that they sent in here.
Yes.
Um, were the twins setting, and this is obviously you don't know if he wasn't there, but I'm just gonna read the question. Were the twins setting up the tents or this was just at the middle school? Because if all the tents, was it intentional that his team didn't have one?
The twins were there to set up the memorial canopies and others if they needed help. Um, Centennial did have a canopy. Carmelo came on the early bus. They had two buses coming. They had an early bus that was there for the girls and then the boys that had to run early. And they had a second bus that did arrive during this incident, and it had the canopy on it. So every school had a canopy. It's just that the twins who were tagged to help out, the reason why they were there, because they weren't supposed to be there, they were setting up the canopies, which they did not even set up all the canopies that were there. And so, yes, everybody had their own canopy. They were supposed to be setting them up. That's the reason why they were even there at the event. And I forgot the second part of that question.
It was where this is okay. It says because if all tents, wait a minute, was it?
Oh, just the part about the middle school.
Right.
This was not at the middle school. This is a large complex that Kirkendall Stadium sits on. So it's a series of a whole lot of different buildings. They actually have a middle school that's there, in which they actually decommissioned and probably getting ready to tear it down or turn it into something else after this previous school year just passed. But it was not at the middle school. It was just in the complex that houses the middle school, other administration buildings, an alternative school or something is over there, some medical facilities and all that stuff, and training areas are there.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Free Mellow now. Sir Q,
Amen.
thank you for the $10. And is it Des? I be trying to read some of y'all names and I be like, okay. So we just gonna say Des 9030. Thank you for the $1. Throwing someone's property is a hostile act. DJ Torch Live.
Correct.
Cynthia, thank you for the super chat. How did Mello have time to get a knife? I asked the same question. If
He
he was
didn't.
jumped, that was
He
my
didn't. He didn't. By all accounts from the kids that were there, they said they never saw him pull out anything. Does that mean he didn't or he did? We don't know until we hear from Carmelo directly, and I'll let him tell that story. But
right.
we know from the people around, they said no. One kid said that he was reaching in the back of him to get the knife that was already erected. And they said two. They didn't even say knife. They said two. And that was their account, and they were there. And so I think to her question, he didn't, because we know that the tool itself or the bag itself wasn't even open. I know they said that he had his hands in it, but we have the photo to prove that it was not open, and all of that. So it's just what we know. So,
Right. And I'm glad you said that because that's what I had been stating. I said, listen, I don't know what Carmelo said because we have not heard from him. So unless you can show me the video, which, you know, is very interesting how this social media stuff is all playing out because people were saying, well, wait a minute, he got jumped. I thought he said it wasn't allegedly. Today, guess what I saw? The police video cam of Carmelo saying, no, I did do it. It wasn't allegedly. You see how this
yeah,
narrative just seems to fall in place. So I know they watch social media. I know they watch my channel, but it's crazy how they released this clip. And even with this whole thing being released on Juneteenth. So I
yeah.
don't know. It seems like there's more to this story. Thank you, No Captivity with Freezy, for the $10 super chat. Keep doing great work, sis. I appreciate it. It is another one. Charlotte. We just gonna say Charlotte. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Keep up the good work. Some of these don't have a message. Xenia 78. Thank you for the super chat. $9.99. Carmelo's defense made many mistakes. DJ Torch. Yep, many
Correct.
mistakes. I would agree with that. And then Beverly White 5438 says, thank you for the truth. And send a $10 super chat. Self-defense is not a crime. Janet lifestyle for Janet. Thank you for the super chat. So yeah, thank you. So what else do you have anything else that you want to say, as it relates to the video? What would you say in closing?
I just asked everybody to really take a look at the video. If you haven't, go back and look at Hunter's interview with his mom on April the 2nd, 2025 with WFAA Channel 8 News in Dallas. And look at that interview. Take that interview from what he said in his account, and then go back and actually look at the video that you have now of the event and look at it from the lens of what Hunter said, and be able to parse through it and pay attention to their movements, what they did and how they did it. So you can kind of really understand what these people did that day and know exactly what Karmelo was going through, because he feared for his life. He really did. And so that gives us a lens into his eyes until we're all able to hear from his joyful heart of what he actually went through that day.
Right. And I know when I did a live, I believe it was yesterday. I don't remember. I've been talking about this so long, but somebody in my chat was like, they said there is something called the Texas Multiple Assailant Doctrine. I had to look that up. Now, the Texas Multiple Assailant Doctrine is a self-defense principle that allows a person to use force, including deadly force, against any member of a group. We saw a group. If they reasonably, this is what you think reasonably, what you think and I think is going to be two different things. What you reasonably perceive as an imminent threat of death. Keep in mind, guys, Carmelo had seizures. I had to ask a doctor the other day because not really familiar with seizures like that. So I said, so if a person has seizures and they got into a fight, and they said, no, a person that has seizures cannot be fighting. They can die. And I was like, I didn't realize that was, I don't know about seizures. So it was so much that I feel like they just had opportunities and they just didn't cover it, because I believe, if I'm correct, that there was something when they were at the trial that they didn't want to talk about his medical histories. And I'm like, clearly he didn't want to fight.
And they didn't want to bring up nothing when it came to Karmelo. No character witnesses, no nothing. They didn't want to show no evidence. They just didn't do anything. And so with hindsight 2020, being that where we are, I'm glad they didn't, because it wouldn't be a hill that he would have to overcome from testimony of his own evidence that they may have shown that would hurt his appeal. In this case, it's just all on the prosecution, the judge, and the lack of work from the defense. If you include exhibits from the defense, testimony from the defense, witnesses from the defense, sometimes it's a harder hill to climb when it comes to appeal. So I think at this situation, since he's actually clean, and I'll say that way, clean on the defense side, now everything, the weight of the brunt of the appeal is from the malfeasance of the defense, the prosecution, and what the judge did not allow, and what the judge's conduct was. So I think it works a whole lot more in his favor that they did not do their job.
I do have another question for you, since you just mentioned what you just said. Now, I hope this is a lie, because we know it's been some lies told. But different people I have heard state that the judge turned the camera off. Please tell me you didn't hear that. Did you hear that?
From my understanding, the cameras were on in the courtroom because every trial is recorded. It just depends on whether they send that feed out. And from my understanding, no, the whole thing was recorded. If it was not, let's just go to the other side and the flip side. If it was not recorded, then that is misconduct from the judge, because now you're violating the defendant's right to a record of his trial. And so that becomes, again, another great moment of rule for appeal, and also once he wins his appeal, and if it goes to a point of retrying it, we know it won't be in Judge Roach's court because we know that's a violation, and they're not going to send it back to the judge that had clear violations.
Great, great. Now I ended up putting your Instagram on the screen because last time I forgot and they was asking me and I ended up putting it in the chat. So I do have Dwayne's Instagram. Is it just Instagram? Do you have any other social medias, Dwayne?
I do have X. I have what else do I have? Oh, I have a lot of them. Most of them are at Dwayne Turned Silk. My Facebook got taken down, so I don't have that anymore. But I do have TikTok. I have I think it's at I am done on TikTok. They actually got my other pages, which was at Dwayne Turned Silk, taken down and banned because of all this stuff. So you can find me at Dwayne Turned Silk on most of my social medias. On TikTok, I am done is my my @ sign.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure, child, because they was like, "What's his Instagram?" So I was like, I follow him on Instagram. I didn't know if you had some other ones, but thank you so much for stopping by and taking your time to, walk us through the video because they were like, "Well, you need to bring him back so he can kind of tell us, what we're looking at." But like I said, when I had called you yesterday, I'm like, "I'm gonna put you on speaker," and you said,
Yeah.
"No, that's not the video." I pretty much figured that. I said, "Yeah, I don't think this is the video." So, thank you so much for confirming that.
Most definitely, anytime, anytime.
All right, thank you for stopping by.
All right, you guys take care.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to get into this because Freezy had interviewed some women on his channel. I didn't get a chance to watch it. You guys were telling me to go watch it. So I want to react to this video right here because, again, Dwayne already told us what he saw. Now, you guys were telling me about the 3 women, and I'm like, what 3 women are you talking about? So I want to react to this video because these women all saw the video.
To one who intrigues, one who intrigues.
Yes.
You went to go see the video at Frisco ISD.
Yes.
Is this correct?
Yes.
What compelled you to want to go even see this video in the first place?
Well, actually it was Hunter. Hunter made me want to go and see the video because I was listening to his interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And something stuck out at me when he said he was with his brother and then he didn't see the poking. Do I say poking over here or stab? Because I don't know.
Listen, you can say stab, knife, or whatever. We raw over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was saying that he didn't see his brother get stabbed. And I kept thinking, if you're standing by your brother, why did you not see it? Mm-hmm. And then he also said something like, and I whipped my head around and I saw my brother. So I couldn't put together why he was whipping his head around. Right. So when I found out that I could go see the video, I signed up and made a request and went to see it. And then after I saw the video, I understood what he meant when he said he whipped his head around.
So you're saying that he actually told the truth in the beginning without even knowing it. And then when you went to go see the video, it correlated with what you seen on the video.
I would say that some of the things that he said in his interview, 90% of it was lies.
Oh, man. No captivity. But the part about him whipping his head around, you did see that.
I did see that part, yes.
Okay, so that motivated you to say, you know what? Let me go see this video down to Frisco ISD. So take us from there, one who intrigues.
Okay, so you want from the beginning or when he whipped his head around?
No, I want to, and I'm going to read the super chats in 1 second. And I got a cash cow from 𝐿akeysha. Thank you for the support. I'm going to read it in 1 second. 𝐿akeysha, you are on the sponsorship board below so far. So I want you to take us from when you drove to Frisco ISD and the process that you had to go through.
Okay, so going to Frisco ISD, it's about an hour, a little bit over an hour drive from me from where I live in Texas. So when I got there, when I went inside, I met up with 2 other TikTokers that was there to see the video. It was Lovely London and it was Kai. So, you know, we made niceties, we said hello, and then we got our badge. They asked for a picture ID. We got our badge. They take us upstairs. I can't remember if it's the 2nd or the 3rd floor, but we go upstairs and we go into this room, and it has 2 rooms to it. One has a little couch and desk and stuff. Then the other one has like a conference room table, and there's a big television screen on the wall. I would say it's something like maybe 45, 55 inches. And it's already has a freeze frame in it where you can see the canopy up.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna let this go, but somebody just put in the chat, how can they follow Dwayne? I just had Dwayne whole Instagram on here. So if you missed it, you just gonna rewind it because I had his whole Instagram up here for at least 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna keep this going because the reason why we're watching this video, again, if you just joined, these are people that saw the video. Like, we want to listen to the people that actually saw the video.
The left, over to the right, you can see some buses that's parked in the parking lot. You can see from the lens, you can see raindrops coming on the lens. You can see birds flying. You can see across the field. You can see people that's on the track field. Some are stretching, walking around, doing a little things. And then you can see, like I said, where the bleachers are. And the bleachers, you see the walkway. Now, the canopy that they were in was up in the far left corner on my left. And you can only see, I would say, maybe half or a third of the canopy. But when you look up at the canopy, you can see Karmelo. Very, very clear. Yes, the video is very clear. It's very clear.
Now, y'all hear these people keep saying the video is very clear. Like, the one that we're looking at is not very clear at all. So again, I feel like this video was provided because it doesn't, I mean, you can zoom in, but we know that the jury didn't do that. So I feel like the video that they're holding on to, they're not releasing it because it's too clear. They want us to think that Karmelo was some lunatic when you can zoom in on the damn video and you can see that they actually they jumped him.
The only thing you cannot see is their face because they have redacted it because they don't want you to see the teenager. But everything else is really pretty clear. You can see colors, you know, like there was a guy, I'm saying it's a guy with a yellow like raincoat on. You can see umbrellas, you can see things like that. You can see the tarp on the fence. But anyway, when you look up, you can see Karmelo because he's the only thing up there with a gray sweatshirt on. And when we came into the room, the lady kind of told us where to focus at so we can see what we're looking for. So I'm watching, and she also told us that it moves so quickly. Don't turn your head too much or you'll miss it. That's how fast everything moves. So then I see people walking in, and then I see this one group that's 6 people. And then you see 2 people veer off. One goes up the bleachers to the right, then one walks straight across. And you see the boys, there's 4. They walk, they turn, they walk upstairs. they walked directly to Karmello.
And who did you perceive these 4 boys to be?
I perceived them to be Austin, Hunter, and the 2 friends that he said that they were with.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you see them walk directly up to Karmello, and I would say they were running kind of they weren't running, they were walking kind of hurriedly, like, you know, like they knew where they were going. They were moving a little bit fast. They get up there, and when they get up there, they stop right in front of Karmello. Now, Karmello is sitting closer to the edge of the bleachers. So they walk in, and when they walk in, they pretty much enclose him in that area, because at the end of the bleachers, you can tell it's cut off because one of the boys are standing there. So while you're looking, I see 2 boys in the middle, and they're like moving around. You know, you can see them moving around. You can see them ducking down and things like that. And at that time, all 3 of us in the room went, they're fighting, you know. So after the little action.
Well, I noticed you said they are fighting, not he was fighting. So they is plural.
Correct. Yes, there were at least 2 of them that I see. That's what I was focusing on, the 4 boys. So after a while, you see Karmello go back a little bit, then you see him come back in. Then you see him go back out again, and the next time he goes out, I'm going to say he kind of went backwards, or however he got over that bleacher, he was kind of crawling a little bit. He stood up. When he stood up, he looked around. He ran up a couple of bleachers, and then he ran down diagonally on the bleacher to the right. When he got to the bottom, he fell. Now, he was moving pretty quick. I mean, he was moving so quick that I didn't even see him jumping over the bleachers. That's how fast he was moving.
Wow.
So when he got to the bottom, he fell. But at the same time, you got 3 guys coming down the stairs chasing after him. So Karmello gets up really quickly, and then he runs out of the view of the frame. So I don't know exactly where he went. But then I focused on the 3 boys that was running after him. Then they were chasing him, and then all of a sudden one stopped. One stopped, and he turned around, and you can see Austin coming down the stairs, and then he falls to his knees and he collapsed. So when the one boy turned around and looked towards Austin, I thought that was Hunter, because he said he whipped his head around. So, and saw his brother. So then it clicked to me, that's what he was talking about. He tried to walk and get over to his brother, but he never made it there, because once Austin collapsed, there were people down in that area that went to his assistance. And pretty much after that, you know, they called the ambulance. It took a while for them to get there. They came in, they pulled in into the field, into the track field. They were there for a few minutes. They got out, they got the gurney out, they went back around the fence, went to Austin, stayed there a little while, put him on the gurney, came back to the ambulance. They backed up, and when they backed up to the opening, they sat there for a little while, and then they took off.
I want to say this. If you're lying, you took a long time to make up that story. Because
no, I'm not.
Because the story is so full of so much detail, and everybody else that has told their story, like Lena, Kyra, T-Sturdy, 12 Tribes, Lou, shout out to Miss Daisy. It's pretty much 99% the same. Of course, there's going to be a little nuances. Everybody, you know, have their own point of view. It's just like 99% the same. And
it
one thing
focusing on, I think.
Yeah.
And what he said is actually correct. All of these people don't know each other. Like, they don't even know each other. And their story is very much similar. Now, one thing Dwayne did say is that when they went in there, they directed them where to look. essentially, of course, when I just watched the video, my eyes was all over the place. And then after watching it a few times, I was able to focus my eyes in different places. But they all said the same thing. When you come in, they ask you, do you want to see 11 minutes before, or do you want to see 2 minutes before?
We're going to get to you in 1 second, Sierra. I got you. I'm coming to you. But I also wanted to correlate with Lena and Queen 88 as far as what y'all just heard. But before I go to y'all, okay, one who intrigues, she'll be right back. Okay, no, let me ask you this, one who intrigues. One thing that's always significant that sticks out to me was every time.
Somebody said in the chat, did Carmelo have any blood on him? I don't know, but I'm going to say no. I don't believe he had any blood on him. Again, I don't know. And what Dwayne said is what I had started to think. We don't know what, if they can't show us a video of what they say Carmelo said, I'm not going to believe that he said it. Even in a situation where he said it's not allegedly, did you guys hear what Dwayne said? He said, yeah, that is because the coach had told him that, you know, these specific things. So I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know. But based on this video now that we have saw, we know that these people lied. Dwayne just said they came there to take Carmelo up out of here. And what happened, the situation flipped around. So now you see where the anger and the vitriol is coming from, because we was finna take this N-word up out of here. And it didn't work like that.
Someone tells what they seen on that signed off video at Frisco ISD, one thing that always sticks out to me was Carmelo. Everybody's seen Carmelo back up, back off, and then get pulled back in. I noticed you said the same thing. That was noticeable to you.
Now, somebody just put in the chat, that was a great, what you said. Let me see if I can find it. I saw blood on his finger. That part. Now, I did hear that, but blood on your finger could also be you fighting to try to get a knife from somebody. I don't know, but if I cut somebody, I don't necessarily have to get blood on my finger. So I don't know. We just gonna find out what really happened, but I don't know if he did that. I don't care what these people say. I don't believe what they say. It's just too many different things of what could have happened. You know, like Dwayne stated, people have stated that these boys allegedly got high. We don't know if that boy had a heart attack because of something else. Based on the information that I received, I know it seemed like it took them a very long time to get him to the hospital, which would make me think that whatever the injuries were that he sustained, that they did not think it was a huge situation to the fact that he was going to be, you know, taken up out of here. And then with them withholding the autopsy, come on now, something ain't right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why that's very important to me is because in the line of self-defense, if someone is actually trying to remove themselves and they get pulled back in, especially pulled back in towards a numerous amount of people, 4 people, 3 people, that's grounds for self-defense all day. He should have been acquitted, right?
Yeah.
Also, you said that you could the video was so clear, you could see the rain. You could see the rain and the birds.
Yeah.
You're not the first person that told me this. Birds, rain, right? All this stuff. Now, we're going to tie all this in, and I'm happy y'all are here because we're going to tie all this in for the...
Did y'all not hear Dwayne say, hey, it was clear, you can see these are mature, grown-ass people, okay? They're not children. They saw what they saw. He said the same thing, like, you can see this, you can see that. What you did not see with them damn kids, well, what you saw, I shouldn't say that, was a bunch of lies. They were all over the place. Carmelo did not do what these people are saying that he did. And that is why the cameras was out of the courtroom. That's why we got this weird ass judge running. What judge do you know? A judge going out doing interviews. This was all a setup from the beginning.
Audience. And I know we got a lot of haters watching, right? And I know we got some black coons watching and some house ninjas and we got some racists watching too. But it's okay because they need to watch. Because we're going to keep pounding this in their face. Right? We're going to keep pounding this in their face because if you can't put this together easily, like most people have, you need to go see a therapist. Something wrong with you. You're narcissistic, or your racism has just gone to a level of no return. And you know, only God can help you. 𝐿𝐸𝐵𝐷𝐸 can't help you after you get to that point. I'm just telling you. You also said, one who intrigues, that when Carmelo ran away, you seen visibly people chasing him, right?
Yes, it was three of them.
Okay.
3 of them.
Now I'm gonna go to Queen. In court, Queen, wasn't that they also agreed that Carmelo did get chased when he ran from the altercation, right, Queen?
Yeah, Nathan actually chased him, and actually they played the 911 call of Nathan chasing him. I don't know if she remembers that, but they played Nathan's 911 call when he was on the witness stand. He said he chased him, then he stopped. Remember that?
Do you remember that, one who intrigues?
I remember them saying that they did see him chase. They said they did see the boys chasing them. I remember that.
Yeah, but the 911 call that we actually heard, we heard him chasing him, then he stopped. They played the 911 call in court of Nathan when he was on the witness stand.
Nathan is the what? Was the who?
That's one of the boys that was over there that claimed he didn't see the knife or see him get it out of his backpack, but he said he stabbed him. I took his notes down verbatim. His name was Nathan.
Ah, okay.
That's that first boy after Officer Cortez.
See, the reason why I need all of y'all is because everybody plays a part in this. Don't y'all see? Everybody plays a part in this. Because the naysayers can pick one person apart. They could try to pick Freezy. They could pick me apart, right? And say, oh, that's just Freezy's account. He's lying. No. When we have more than one person, this show is probably one of our most important shows, because when you have more than one person on the show and we're connecting the dots, it's very hard to say, oh, they lying. It's very hard to say that, okay? Now, Lena, what you heard one who intrigues say and the account she gave, was it a lot similar to what you seen when you signed off to go see the video, Lena?
Very much so. I think that what she mentioned as far as the wanting to see the video, because for me, I wanted to validate what Hunter said, because one thing about our culture is that if someone in our culture does something wrong, we're going to hold them to the fire.
I like when she said that, because this is not, you know, about, I don't know what other people feel, but I feel as a Black person, you know, we don't necessarily promote when people do wrong shit. You know, we don't be like, oh, you know, that's what they do. And I've said this over and over again. This is not about innocent or guilt. It is about being fair. He did not have a fair trial. So you're not going to hoodwink us with this bullshit with telling us he admitted it. Admitted what? Admitted it. He didn't get a fair trial. So I just, you know, want to be clear with that. He did not have a fair trial. Every person is entitled to a fair trial. And that's it. That's all.
We're going to say, no, you shouldn't have did that. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I need to see this for myself to validate what this kid is saying, because it doesn't make sense to me, right? When Karmelo told the officer that I was protecting myself, when it comes to self-defense, it was the officer's responsibility at that point to ask him, who were you protecting yourself from? And then apprehending the other people that was involved in the altercation.
Thank you, Lena. That was beautifully put. Before we go to you, Ciara, let me read some comments that they sent here. Shout out to DIDR. Let me bring this up. Shout out to DIDR for your $5. Let me put this.
I'm a fast forward.
There were two.
Go ahead, Ciara. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ciara.
I visited 5515 Ohio Drive in Frisco, Texas.
Now, this is the second witness. They're all on this panel together. These, women have all saw the video. So they're giving their accounts of what they saw.
Frisco ISD Administrative Building.
She giving addresses and every damn thing. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Let's go. I'm ready.
You have to show your ID. They run a copy of your ID. And they give you a sticker, to verify who you are and everything. Put that little sticker on your shirt or clothing. And you'll wait for someone to come and retrieve you to take you to see the video. I think her name was Michelle. But she took me up. You go into an office area. The office area is also adjacent to a conference room. You could not take your electronics or anything like that in with you. You had to leave them outside. In other words, in the office area. You could not bring them inside the conference room where you were viewing the video. She gave me a choice of watching the video either 11 minutes before the interaction or 2 minutes before the interaction.
Remember, guys, the same thing Dwayne said. I don't think he said it in this interview. You got to go back and see the first time I interviewed him. Everybody say the same thing. They asked you, do you want to see 2 minutes before the altercation, or do you want to see 11 minutes before the altercation?
I chose 11 minutes. I wanted to see everything that I could see.
Okay.
And yes, the birds were flying. You can almost see through the rain.
The birds were flying. Did not Dwayne said that? Very much descriptive. So what that tells you, when people can watch a video and can tell you about the birds, does that not indicate that it was very much clear? It was very much clear. So this grainy video stuff is pretty much so that people would think that it's something that is not. In all honesty, Frisco ISD needs to receive a lawsuit, including the county, because they're telling you that they can see the birds. I believe Dwayne said you can see the rain. So these people are not making it up. Keep in mind, these are also people of the community who decided to go see the video because they wanted to know what was going on. And they too felt like the stories that Hunter gave just didn't add up.
Raindrops. The colors were very, very vivid. I don't know where they get the graininess from. The video also was 45 minutes long. I want to know who's standing there watching grainy video that you can't tell anything for 45 minutes. Make that make sense. There were people walking in and out. Michelle did tell us where to focus, to keep your eye there, because if you don't, you may miss something. There were two timestamps, one in the upper left-hand corner and one in the lower right-hand corner. One was, I don't remember what they were for, but anyways, you could not fast forward, rewind, pause, or stop the video. You had to see it all the way through when it started. Then you see people walking in and out, you know, just filtering in. But you see Karmelo sitting on that back seat, the very last row of the canopy, looking downward at his phone, not aware of his surroundings. I mean, he's looking down, literally looking down at his phone. You then see a group of 6 individuals walking aggressively, walking as if they were on a mission. 2 of them veered off. They went somewhere. I didn't notice where they went off to, you know, because I didn't know who they were. But 4 out of that group of 6, that 4 of them went directly to Karmelo. They never sat down. Hunter stated that they sat down. You know, they were sitting down. The next thing I see is commotion, you know, body parts moving. There's no sound to the video either. But you see body parts moving. They stood in front of Karmelo like in a half seat type shape. So Karmelo, if they wanted him to leave, he was not able to, you know, even if he volunteered to leave, he wasn't able to because they were blocking his path. Or he could have jumped over their heads. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Who did you perceive these 4 boys who encamped him? Who did you perceive them to be?
Well, I know one of them was Hunter, and I know the other one was Austin. Okay. But I don't know who the other 2 boys were. I'm going to speculate and state that it was the 2 individuals. It was the 2 individuals that, hold on. It was the 2, that's my son.
No problem.
It was the 2 individuals that they walked over to the schoolhouse or field house. They surrounded him. The next thing I see is I see a hand gesture, like somebody was directing someone out or throwing something out. It was a hand gesture. I can't tell you exactly what that hand was doing. Next thing I see is Karmelo crawling on his backside, outside the backside of the canopy. And he ran up 2 to 3 steps. When he's running up 2 to 3 steps, he stops. He looks around. He did like a football move, you know, like I'm going to fake you out, you know? And
did y'all notice that Dwayne used that similar, you know what I mean? So it's really amazing that these people pretty much saw the same thing. We can't, like, you cannot make this up. Can't make this up.
He decided to go down his left, our right. He gets down to the base of the bleachers. He slips on the sidewalk and he falls. He recovers quickly. But at that moment is when you see the 3 individuals chasing him. One of them stopped, whipped his head around and looked up. So I whipped my head around and I looked up. Okay, so I'm going to call that individual Hunter. The one that we looked up and seen was Austin, because Austin was holding his chest, walking down those bleacher steps. He gets down to the sidewalk. He walks 2 to 3 steps in front of the canopy before he collapses. And as one who already iterated, the ambulance took about 10 minutes to get there. They drive onto the field through an opening in the fencing that separated the field from the sidewalk and the bleachers. They go onto the field and they park directly in front of Austin. So you could not see Austin anymore or them even performing life-saving measures on him. I never saw Hunter go over to Austin. I can't
remember Hunter. Hunter is a liar. Okay. We have never met him, but we know he's a liar because all he has told was conflicting stories. Because remember, he said, my brother died in my arms. Well, she looking at the camera, he ain't dying in your arms. Another lie.
verify that. I wish I could, but I can't. I think he was, I don't know. I never saw it. But anyways, it took them about 20 minutes working on Austin. And then they loaded him and drove off.
Take your time.
Sorry. They loaded him and drove.
Wait a minute. Did she say 30 minutes? I'm going to have to rewind that because I stated that the information that I was getting from multiple people, it seemed like he was there for too long. Now, I just got to rewind that a bit because somebody who passed away, I guess I don't understand. Why did it take them 30 minutes to get him out of there? Why would it take 30 minutes? Did I hear her wrong? 30 minutes. That goes to now what everybody had stated is that they didn't feel like this was life-threatening. So what did this boy really pass away from?
Because Austin was holding his chest, walking down those bleacher steps. He gets down to the sidewalk. He walks 2 to 3 steps in front of the canopy before he collapses. And as one who already iterated, the ambulance took about 10 minutes to get there. They drive onto the field through an opening in the fencing that separated the field from the sidewalk and the bleachers. They go onto the field and they park directly in front of Austin. So you could not see Austin anymore or them even performing life-saving measures on him. I never saw Hunter go over to Austin. I can't verify that. I wish I could, but I can't. I think he was, I don't know. I never saw it. But anyways, it took them about 20 minutes working on Austin. And then they loaded him and drove off.
Take your time.
Sorry. They loaded him and drove off. They stopped in front of the middle school. And they hesitated there, real briefly, and they moved on to the hospital. But in the interim of all of that, while we were waiting, there were 2 police officers before they moved the canopy over Austin because of the rain. The rain had picked up. This is when they were securing the knife. They took a tarp, a blue tarp, and they secured the poker or knife.
Now, I wanted to stop here because she's talking about they secured the knife. The knife of which they never showed during the trial. Now, I know y'all done watched trials before. The murder weapon is always brought in. Why wasn't the weapon brought in? Can somebody tell me why? Well, allegedly, Dwayne has stated that he has heard that because it was never it wasn't Karmelo's weapon. And they're saying that allegedly it was one of them twins, or it was what they used. And he said, you know, it's not really a big thing, because he said everybody in Texas has stuff like that. So not a biggie. But have you guys thought about why they didn't bring it in the courtroom? He said that he heard it had one of their initials on it. This isn't normal, guys. They don't have trials and not bring the weapon in. That's the purpose of the trial. All of these things should have, you know, been able to place doubt with this particular jury. But again, seems like the lawyer was also in on it. When I say the lawyer, I'm talking about Karmelo's attorney, because the weapon was there. You could have brought it, but you didn't. I feel like it wasn't brought in because it had something on it that would implicate them twins. Okay. You know, they try to tell us that Karmelo brought this item to school. I don't believe he did. And I as I started to think about this case, I said, I really don't believe he had it. People have stated, rumors had it, that after they attacked him and vigorously beat him up, he grabbed it, but it was something that they had. But then I've also heard that he didn't actually do the damage that they're saying. I don't know, but I do know that they're not telling us something. A lot of stuff they're not telling us.
I'm trying to find the words now, the knife. But the officer, when he bent down before they moved that canopy, he bent down and picked up a book bag and tossed it up to the other officer. It did not appear to be open. It may have been, but I did not see an opening where anything fell out or anything like that. And they secured the tarp down because the wind and rain had picked up at that point. I'm going to say that not one of those individuals, those boys, realized that Austin had been stabbed when they took off after Carmelo. They were too busy assaulting Carmelo.
Wait a minute, we're gonna have to rewind.
They took immediate.
Did y'all hear what this lady said?
Thank you, Sierra. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna say this. You're probably one of the most detailed people that I've actually listened.
Realized that Austin had been stabbed when they took off after Carmelo. They were too busy assaulting Carmelo.
Huh. They were too busy, because y'all got to understand, I'm sure y'all been kids before. When you are jumping somebody and you are attacking them, the thing that you're not doing is watching out to see if the person that you in this squabble with, your friends, you know, jumping on this person, you're not looking to see if they're okay, because it's all a fight. So they didn't notice what had happened to Austin because they were engaged in jumping on Carmelo. This makes perfect sense. Of course, they wouldn't see that Austin had gotten hurt. But it also leads you to believe, why wouldn't they see what had happened to Austin if it was Carmelo that had did it? Because keep in mind, they were pursuing Carmelo. So that's why it's kind of up in the air. I don't know if Carmelo actually did this poke that took this boy out of here. Either it was the stuff, alleged drugs that he had already been doing, or he fell on it. But I feel like there's a lot of other things that could have led to what happened to this boy.
Yeah.
Poker or knife. I'm trying to find the words now, the knife. But the officer, when he bent down before they moved that canopy, he bent down and picked up a book bag and tossed it up to the other officer. It did not appear to be open. It may have been, but I did not.
Did y'all hear what she said? Remember, y'all, they said he took it out of the book bag, right? So he took it out of the book bag. So you think somebody took it out and then zipped it back up? First of all, I don't even know how he would have took anything out. That was a ambush. He never knew that that was coming. That boy didn't have time to get shit. I don't care what they say. So what she's saying is if he took something out of a book bag, it would have still been open. She said, you can see that it was tossed. This story don't add up, y'all. It just don't.
See an opening where anything fell out or anything like that. And they secured the tarp down because the wind and rain had picked up at that point. I'm going to say that not one of those individuals, those boys, realized that Austin had been stabbed when they took off after Karmello. They were too busy assaulting Karmello. They took off on Karmello. So I'm going to land it there, and that's my testimony.
Thank you, Sierra. Thank you so much.
Exactly. There was no time for him to unzip his bag. That is a lie. They set this boy up. There was no time for him to unzip a bag. They try to portray it in court like he came there, which, okay, is making sense now. He didn't come there to fight, but they ass most definitely came there to fight. You see how these hunkies flip the narrative? They take what they did and make it seem like you did it because they're liars. That boy didn't. So how do I have time to get a bag? She even says that Karmello was looking down on his phone. He never knew what they was trying to do to him. He never knew it. This was a setup from the beginning.
And I'm gonna say this: you're probably one of the most detailed people that I've actually listened to. I'm talking about from beginning to end. I think you did a wonderful job. I wish my memory was as good as yours. But I want to say this. I don't know if I missed it, but just like one who in Tree said, she said she noticed Karmelo's body go back and then he got pulled forward. Did you notice that? I don't know if you said that during your.
I must have. I didn't. Listen, if you were focused in on certain areas, you're going to miss something. And that was the reason why Michelle instructed, well, you want to notice what's going on in this area right here, because if you look elsewhere, you're going to miss it. Because we could not fast forward, rewind, pause, or stop the video.
Right.
So I may have missed that.
No, listen. I'm happy you're saying this because it lets people know that you're not trying to fabricate. You're telling what you've seen, right? And
okay, let me just say this because I don't want you guys, if you're going to send a super chat, please don't send a super chat saying, go watch another channel's video, because I'm not going to read it, okay? Like, you can't come on my live sending a super chat and telling somebody to go watch somebody else's video. Are y'all okay? So if you're going to send a super chat, don't send a super chat saying, go watch this. Like, I mean, come on now.
I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to go. Queen, I noticed you put your finger up. Did you have something to say, Queen, before I go to Lena?
she's not lying, because when you're actually inside the court and you're listening to like the officer's testimony, and then also looking at the body cam, it's coinciding with what she said. I noticed when she said that they got there and put the blue tarp over the knife, they did say that Officer Cortez.
Exactly. I like this one. You said, I remember Queen Sheba said someone testified that they began CPR on Hunter. Why would someone administer CPR on a stab victim? You see what I'm saying? They act like we stupid. We're not stupid, but on the other hand, they are. This shit don't add up. They don't. You know how somebody tells so many lies that they start to forget the lies? This is what this kind of reminds me of. It's so many damn lies, and it's irritating. Just like these women on this live stated, they said, I got up and went and looked at the video because I was watching Hunter and his ass was lying, is what they said. They didn't say that, but what they said was his stories didn't make sense. So they wanted to watch the video so that they can get a good idea of what had taken place. That's kind of how we're all gathered and have become supporters of this, because we know that Karmello has been railroaded. We know that now. We know that they lied.
And shows did say that, and then they picked up the backpack, not knowing that that was Carmelo's backpack. They didn't know that. They were trying to pick up the backpack to put it down on top of the tarp to keep the tarp from coming up. So I was just saying, from my recollection, what she said is matching up to what the officers were saying.
That detail that Sierra gave was actually, it came out in court. Okay, that's what Queen is. Thank you, Queen. I mean, I love y'all, man. Lena, you heard what Sierra said. You seen the video, Lena. You signed off to see it. Was what Lena said way off from what you seen? Lena.
No, what Mama Sierra said, no. It's you know, just to be frank, the majority of the people who went to see the video came back with the same story. There may have been variations.
Wait a minute. She's saying what I just said and what y'all hearing everybody said. The majority of the people that saw the video, their story is pretty much the same. Obviously, they're going to use different words and everything like that. They all saw the same thing. So what the hell did this jury? You're a jury member and you see less, you get supposed to get all of the evidence, but you saw that Karmello actually murdered somebody. Well, no. Where? What video did they watch? What did they watch? This was a setup. That baby was railroaded. Could have been one of the kids who jumped him. Listen, in a situation where you're fighting with a weapon, you could have poked him. Anybody could have poked him. But I do feel like they want Karmello to take the rap for what happened to that boy.
Because as both One Who and Sierra mentioned, you know, if you look one way, you may miss something. And so there may be little variances, but the key things that stand out to me that every person has mentioned is that Karmello was sitting looking at his phone. 6 boys came in, 4 actually approached him, and Karmello ran up, ran down, fell, and he was chased. Those are the 4 components that each person.
I'm going to read this super chat. The voice of him starting to think Austin Metcalf fell on the tent too and impaled himself. That's why they aren't showing the other half of the tent when Carmelo Anthony left. Looks like the boys fell down the bleachers. Heart attack maybe, because think about it. They say, oh, well, Carmelo admitted it. He never said I stabbed somebody. When you say, if I get into a fight with somebody, Yes, I beat they. Okay, I'm gonna admit to that. Now we don't know when he said what he said. He never said what he was admitting to. He could have been admitting to fighting. Okay, so to say that he admitted it is a lie. That's why I say no. I need to hear him saying that is what he admitted to. I do not believe now, after watching that video, that he poked anybody, because I'm still trying to figure out, how did he have time? And then they're saying he unzipped a book bag. The story that they told is that Karmelo was sitting there. They asked him to leave. He got mad and pulled out a poker. That's not what we saw. He was jumped by at least 4 boys. He was jumped. And I don't believe now that he actually stuck that boy with that thing, because he was surrounded. If you're surrounded and you sitting down and everybody is around you, how can you bend down in your bag and get something? When I look at the video, this is what I see. They were getting punches in on that boy. I feel like when we saw him go back, it's because they was hitting him and he lost his balance. I don't believe he stabbed that boy. I just don't believe it. Based on this video that they tried to give to us like we was dumb, it is confirmed. So, at first I thought, okay, well, he was defending himself. I don't even think he actually had it now. I'm just trying to figure out how. Like, everything happened so quick. I don't believe he did. There was one involved, but I believe it belonged to one of them. And that is simply why they never brought it to court. What kind of damn case is that? You don't bring the actual weapon, but say you have it, but you're just not going to bring it to court. That doesn't make any sense.
And that I've heard, except for oppositions and everything else, have mentioned in their story when they retell what they saw in this video.
So what I want to do right now, and thank you for rejoining us, One Who Intrigues. Thank you. What I want to do right now, I'm going to play a video by a gentleman. He's a news anchor for Court TV. He said that he was inside the court, and he's one of the people that's actually insinuating that you guys can't know what you're talking about. You're fabricating. And what he's seen in court, he know for a fact what he's seen in court does not line up with what you guys are saying. So he said, I don't know, these people that say they seen another video, I don't know what they're talking about. I actually went to court. Now, the reason why this live stream is so important, Queen was also in court, and One Who Intrigues was also in court. Go ahead, Queen.
They played the day that I was there when they played the video. I didn't see none of that. It was blurred to where, and then they would start at like bits and pieces, so we couldn't see. All we seen was.
Okay, so the reason why I want to cut her off really quickly, Queen was actually in court. So the great thing about this panel is you have people who went in to see the video, the clear video, the video that you can actually see what's going on. And then you have Queen, who was at court, and she's saying what she saw. Now, what this does is paint a picture of corruption, because Queen says, no, that ain't what they showed us. And then if you listen to what Dwayne said, no, the video that they showed court was choppy. They didn't even show them a chronological order video. They showed them videos from different angles, and it never told a full story.
A bunch of kids walk over to them, and then sorry y'all, this car right here. A bunch of movement.
Sorry.
That's all we see. And then they will cut it off, and then they will go to the aftermath of the body camera. They'll pull up the body camera. So we didn't see nothing that was clear. We did not. I got some more folks that come up here and say the same thing. That was not clear.
What about, were you in there when they played the video too, One Who Intrigues? in court?
No, I wasn't in there at the time, but I do.
They made the video blurry on purpose. They tampered with evidence. They made the video blurry on purpose. What I was told in court is that when they played the video, that they actually had to tell the jury what they were seeing. And right away I said, how did the attorney for Carmelo Anthony allow this? I got eyes. If you're showing me a video that I can't see, don't tell me what I'm seeing, because isn't that the purpose of showing people a video, so that they can look at it and make out what it is they see? If you got to show me a video and tell me what I'm looking at, yeah, I don't want to see that video.
Trying to keep the truck from coming up. So I was just saying, from my recollection, what she said is matching up to what the officers were saying.
That detail that Ciara gave was actually, it came out in court. Okay, that's what Queen is. Thank you, Queen. I mean, I love y'all, man. Lena, you heard what Ciara said. You seen the video, Lena. You signed off to see it. Was what Lena said way off from what you seen? Lena.
No, what Mama Sierra said, no. It's you know, just to be frank, the majority of the people who went to see the video came back with the same story. There may have been variations because, as both One Who and Sierra mentioned, you know, if you look one way, you may miss something. And so there may be little variances, but the key things that stand out to me that every person has mentioned is that Carmelo was sitting looking at his phone. 6 boys came in, 4 actually approached him, and Carmelo ran up, ran down, fell, and he was chased. Those are the 4 components that each person that I've heard, except for oppositions and everything else, have mentioned in their story when they retell what they saw in this video.
So what I want to do right now, and thank you for rejoining us, One Who Intrigues. Thank you. What I want to do right now, I'm going to play a video by a gentleman. He's a news anchor for Court TV. He said that he was inside the court, and he's one of the people that's actually insinuating that you guys can't know what you're talking about. You're fabricating. And what he's seen in court, he know for a fact what he's seen in court does not line up with what you guys are saying. So he said, I don't know, you know, these people that say they seen another video, you know, I don't know what they're talking about. I actually went to court. Now, the reason why this live stream is so important.
Let me make sure you guys understand, you know. So somebody put in the chat, why are comments getting deleted? This is a very touchy situation. You have a kid. I don't care that he's 19. He is a kid. You will not come in my chat and say disrespectful things. This ain't the difference in opinion channel, okay? You can have a difference in opinion, but if you're being disrespectful, we gonna delete you and block you. Just so you know, I don't have time to go back and forth with people. You definitely can have a difference in opinion. You can have a difference in opinion. It ain't what you say, it's how you say it.
Queen was also in court, and One Who Intrigues was also in court. Go ahead, Queen.
They played the day that I was there when they played the video. I didn't see none of that. It was blurred to where, and then they would start at like bits and pieces, so we couldn't see. All we seen was a bunch of kids walk over to them, and then oh, sorry y'all, this car right here. A bunch of movement.
Sorry.
That's all we see, and then they would cut it off, and then they would go to the aftermath of the body camera. They'll pull up the body camera. So we didn't see nothing that was clear. We did not. I got some more folks that come up here and say the same thing. That was not clear.
What about, were you in there when they played the video too, One Who Intrigues? in court?
No, I wasn't in there at the time.
That part, what you just put in the chat. Carmelo never said what he did. He said he put his hands on me. And some people say, well, why he didn't say they or all of this? Just stop it, okay? We're not perfect people. We make mistakes. He never said anything. He said he put his hands on me. Now, there is a video when he said it's not alleged, but he did not say what, like, for instance, he got in a fight. He just said it wasn't alleged. That boy never said that I poked somebody. So I think we're taking these little bits and pieces and we're making something to be. We ain't never heard Carmelo speak. They set him up. If you don't think that they set him up now, you just don't want to think it. Because again, I'm not supporting him because of his color or nothing like that. But my number one issue is now this is where it becomes color for me, is because you have now another Black young man that's being railroaded yet again by a system. We're talking about a child, to me, still a child that got good grades, that did everything he was supposed to do. But now we have a system that railroaded him. That's a problem. He didn't get a fair trial. I don't know. If you don't understand it, you don't want to understand it.
But I wasn't in there at the time. No, I didn't see the video. I was in there at one time when the prosecutor was talking about the time frame of what happened. And I kept thinking that's not lining up with the time frame that I remember on the video.
Wow. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Lena.
I was going to say what we noticed, though, during the trial is that what the prosecution did was they did a spotlight video. So basically, they specifically focused on every movement of Carmelo. And then whatever said incident that transpired. What they also did was to try and make it to where people can see, or maybe to create an illusion, they zoomed it all the way in. Because remember, we saw it on a 4K TV, but they had like a 1083p. So when you're zooming in and you're doing things of that nature, it's going to distort the picture. It's going to make it grainy. It's going to make it pixelated. And so that's what they were presented in court. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that just, as one who stated, the timestamps are different. When we saw the video, we had a clock in the corner. We also had a timer. So the timer was running, but there was...
Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I said that. Not only is the video, it's not cohesive, it's jumping. You can look at this and say, this ain't a full, this is edited. There's no timestamps. Y'all know that when you're recording the video, it's not any timestamps because it is not the original video. She said that when they went to watch the video at Frisco ISD, all of these things were there. Now in court, it's not, because it is not the original video. They edited that video to fit whatever narrative that they wanted to show that jury. And that's exactly what they did. And his attorney, Carmelo's attorney, needs to be arrested. He needs to be arrested and he needs to lose his bar card.
Also an actual clock that specified the specific time that all of these things were transpiring. So based on what they're saying, it just doesn't line up. So were they looking at the timer or were they referencing to the actual clock that was on the screen?
Wow, thank you for that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to prepare a video. Well, I'm going to read a couple of super chats, but I'm going to prepare a video, right? And
so I wanted to show that, guys, because again, people keep saying that. Here's the deal. Whenever a Black person do anything, it's always, they're criminal, they crazy. No, I'm sorry, they don't say they crazy. They use that for white people to make excuses when they do stuff. when we do stuff, it doesn't matter what we have achieved. We are a criminal. They have criminalized a 17-year-old as if he'd been on earth for 40 years and every 6 months he's in jail. It doesn't matter what you do. They'll always see you as less than. Carmelo Anthony did not receive a fair trial. He did not receive a fair trial. You have strangers that's coming together because they know that this Black child is being railroaded. So when I said that I didn't support Carmelo Anthony because he was Black, the reason that really made me support him was because it was a Black male that was being railroaded. He didn't get a fair trial. And I feel like he did get a fair trial was strictly because of his color. And that's all. I feel like if he would have been white, I don't even feel like they would have charged him. What is the girlfriend's relationship with the so-called cousin Eddie? I don't know.
I'm going to play this guy named, I think his name is Cody. I forgot I did have his last name. I'll get his last name in 1 second, but his name is Cody something. He works for Court TV. And what I'm going to do is
he's going to play this video. I know what video he's going to play because I actually saw it. So he says that he saw a different video. I'm all about numbers. If more people say that they saw a video and that it was not grainy, keep in mind too, it was the white lady. What was her name? Daisy. Daisy said she saw the same thing. So we're just gonna listen to what this other guy says. But I'm on the side of the people that all are saying the same thing because they don't know each other. What reason do they have to lie? You even got Daisy, and Daisy actually came on his show and she didn't even show her face. So that should tell you something. You know, she didn't even want to show her face because, as I said in an earlier video that I did, we found now Austin Metcalf's mother online as if she's sending her supporters to harass people.
I'm going to play what he said. He did an interview on Court TV, and I'm going to let you guys hear what he had to say right after I read some of what the audience said. And they might have, are you guys okay? They might have some questions for y'all from the audience too. Are y'all okay with answering audience questions? Okay. Let me read this.
Can I just tell these ladies that actually seen the video that thank you? Because now we were arguing over, literally I've gotten to arguments. There's 2 videos. No, there's 1 video now. Right?
That's a fact.
It's just the way.
Thank you,
Queen.
Remember,
there's 1 video.
Hey, Queen, don't you sometimes you say to yourself, are these people dumb? Like,
yeah.
Are they slow? Did it take them that long to put it together? Go ahead, one who intrigues.
I like that. There is 1 video, but unfortunately, it's 2 videos. I mean, we know the one that they showed in court, and then we know the one that is the authentic real video.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Queen.
It's 1 because I was thinking it was 2. The way I'm so confused, y'all don't understand. I'm thinking it's 2 videos. I'm like, right. I was dumb. It's 1 video.
Somebody said they need to subpoena Michelle from Frisco ISD. Now I know you ain't lying because that is who I have emailed, and that was the lady that told me via my public, I think it's like a public information request, that they had ultimately decided to, well, actually, she didn't say they, but she said the Attorney General made the decision that they are no longer showing that video. So you ain't lying at all.
Okay, because I thought I heard them say, I thought I heard someone that was in the courtroom say they had 4 different angles of the video. Is that true?
It was 4 different. My friend Sid told me that was in there. Majority of it, that they were showing different angles. They also showed the jury some stuff too. They would kind of show us a little bit and then show the jury and turn it to the jury. They did not want to show that video. The only thing they kept showing was a little bit of that straight body cam. After that.
You know what? I want to mention that when I was hearing about the timestamps of the video, it was not only not lining up with me, but it seemed to be some kind of confusion with the witnesses too. I do recall that the prosecutor, one of the witnesses said that they were crowded around Karmello, which is.
I just want to answer this question because I did a video on this. Can a lawyer subpoena directly? I think you're saying, can a lawyer subpoena the school? He did. They didn't show up. He was supposed to. Now, if they didn't show up, you can issue a warrant for these people arrest. The lawyer did nothing. So he did subpoena the school. They still didn't show up. And it goes to also the culture that Dwayne was speaking of. They're probably friends with the judges and all of these different people. All of these people work together. So yes, the lawyer did subpoena the school. And they were saying that, I think it was another attorney on Facebook was saying that I guess he got the file and was saying that the subpoenas had been returned basically unserved. So yes, he did subpoena them.
It's true. They had him kind of circled in there. But then the witness said one of the witnesses said that they had him surrounded. And the prosecutor said, no, I think you might be a little confused. Let me show you this video because didn't they surround him after the poking? And I said, I'm thinking to myself, no, they didn't. They had him surrounded before.
You're leading.
Wait. So it was kind of like the prosecutor.
Leading the witness.
So it was kind of like the prosecutor was leading the witness.
He was not only leading them, he was manipulating the film because he showed them the video where the kids were running out of the tent. And that did not happen until Karmello was out of the tent.
Okay, y'all got to stop spreading lies. Michelle has, listen, people, didn't I just tell you that I spoke to Michelle? Michelle is not fired. That is a lie. She still worked there. Michelle, the lady that showed the video, is still working there. She was not fired. That is a lie. I never knew who she was until I requested to see the video. She ain't fired. She still works there. So that's just not true. If she was fired, I would have never had any kind of dialogue with her because she would have been fired already. I just spoke to her last week. So how is she fired?
Wow.
And I remember when I was watching the video just from the action that was happening, because when Karmello came out, you can see that nobody knew what was going on because nobody reacted. And then all of a sudden it's a burst of kids that run out from up under the canopy. By that time, Karmello was almost at the very end of the bleachers.
Yeah, he could have been in Egypt by then.
Yeah.
How fast?
Yeah.
So this is what Kyra said. Kyra said, how could they have surrounded him after the stabbing if he ran to a coach?
Exactly.
Because that didn't happen.
And that was one of the problems I was having with a lot of the testimony because it wasn't adding up. It wasn't adding up at all.
Let me read a couple of.
So guys, again, we all had the same issue with this entire case. Is it just didn't add, it didn't add up. And again, when people lie, I guess they're just lying to, give an answer to whatever it is that you're asking. This entire case has been lies. The judge is corrupt. The district attorney is corrupt. The school, everybody is working together. Carmelo Anthony, finally the video was leaked, but we know the video that they now showed us is not even the full edited video. Make sure you guys, if you're in the chat, make sure you go ahead and like the video. Liking the video helps us to get the video further into the algorithm, because what we want to do is continue to talk about Carmelo Anthony. I feel like if we were not doing videos all on social media talking about these corrupt people, maybe they wouldn't have even leaked that. But what they fail to realize is we have an ability to think outside the box. The video actually proves everything we stated. Now, I was able to find this one right here on TikTok. If you guys can see, you can see right there that they are moving, they are rocking, they are hitting him hard. This is a fight. So you telling me they couldn't see that? This was a full-fledged fight. Carmelo was fighting for his life. I also need to let y'all know, a person that has seizures can die. So his life was on the line. He could have died. They hitting him all upside his head and in his face. He could have had a seizure. He could have died. And then you throw him in jail for 35 years. And then all the racists come to the chat and make hunky racist comments. These people are sick and disgusting. Sick and disgusting. Well, guys, I'm going to get out of here. We've been on here for 3 hours and 10 minutes, which is kind of way past the time that I try to be on here. But again, make sure you guys like the video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. And make sure once the video ends that you hype up the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And also, thanks to everybody, and it's a lot of y'all that's been sending me all of this stuff. I think what I'm going to have to do is just do an email dedicated to just the Carmelo Anthony stuff, because I need to be able to keep up with it, because it's a lot and y'all sending me so much stuff. But thank you to all of the people that's sending me stuff. One lady, she sent me, like, I feel like this is her full-time job. So I'm loving how we all connected to come together to, you know, put out this content as it relates to Carmelo Anthony. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down. Keysha, clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Lakeysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. Hey. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeysha Keysha channel.